In 2012, the Oakland A's shocked the baseball world by winning the American League West and making the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Across the Bay, the Giants were even more impressive as the Orange and Black won time after time with their backs against the wall to win their second World Championship in 3 years. Two teams whose optimism runs high meet in the Cactus League as the Giants host the A's, and it's coming up next. Lots of sunshine today here in Scottsdale as Giants fans getting ready for exhibition baseball. It's the Bay Area rivals. It's the Giants taking on the Oakland A's. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, we always talk about these games, and they don't count, but as you get closer to the end of spring training, you want everything to start to fall in place a little bit, and that would be the case for Tim Lincecum, who's on the mound today.
Well, it's been kind of a different spring training for Tim Lincecum. He had to deal with a blister problem. Took him a while to get back on the mound. 2 starts ago, when he did get back on the mound, he really looked good. The fastball was down around the knees. The specialty pitches were very crisp, and everybody thought, all right, here we go. His last outing, however, he struggled with the command of his fastball. It was up, and the specialty pitches were not quite as crisp as the Giants saw at his previous start. So we'll watch him very closely. The key today is the fastball command. Can he locate the knees and get that early in this game? They're going to try and stretch him out. He'll look to throw 75 pitches, and that's the goal today.
Two guys fun to watch right now are the two Brandons. Belton Crawford are indeed in the lineup. All right, we've got baseball on a beautiful day. Stay with us. We'll have the lineups and the very first pitch of this game right after this. Back here in Scottsdale, the Giants have taken the field, and let's check in with Amy G. Amy?
All right, Dwayne, thanks a lot. I've got an injury update for fans at home, and it's a pretty good report, gentlemen. Pablo Sandoval, who experienced elbow soreness last Sunday, actually played light catch today. It's his first activity since having some elbow pain. Marco Scudero, dealing with some back stiffness, told me today he's ready to go, but the Giants keeping him out of the lineup as a precautionary measure. And, of course, Hector Sanchez dealing with some shoulder pain. He was able to hit in the last few minor league games, took BP today, and hit some soft toss from the left side. So fans should be looking for Hector to possibly be ready on opening day, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Amy. And we're ready for the first pitch as Coco Crisp stands in. And Lincecum, the first pitch of the ball game, is on its way, and it's a fastball high. We'll get the lineups to you after Coco Crisp at bat. So we get underway at 1:05. Crisp hitting .353 during the spring as he fouls this one back. It's 72 degrees. The A's are 10-12 on the spring, and the Giants are 11-12. Giants won yesterday. The A's game ended up in a tie. Here's the 1-1 delivery to Crisp, and it's a bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike. The home plate umpire is Brian Knight, and I think that Tim Lincecum thought that Brian Knight missed that pitch.
Well, it's still up, though, and that's the key. That's really not a strike you want with a breaking ball.
A big bouncer foul. It's now 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck is John Jaso and then Jed Lowry. Josh Reddick not here. He was injured yesterday, as that's in the dirt. A full count now to Coco Crisp. Not really a good idea to walk Coco Crisp.
Command has always been an issue with Lincecum in spring training. The goal is to establish the knee-high location with that fastball, and everything seems to follow.
And the walk. All right, the rest of the A's lineup. You just saw Crisp. We told you about Jaso. And we also told you about Lowry. The cleanup hitter will be Yoenis Cespedes, followed by Seth Smith, and then Josh Donaldson. Derek Barton will hit in the 7th slot, then Eric Sogard 8th, and Tommy Malone will pitch, and he will bat 9th. So here's Jaso. You might remember John Jaso with the Seattle Mariners. Pretty good hitter. Hitting at 192 this spring with 6 RBIs. Crisp with excellent speed at first base. And Lincecum with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 0-2.
The numbers for Tim Lincecum in 3 starts this spring: 7 2/3, 11 hits allowed, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Not pretty numbers. But he has also had to deal with a blister problem, which kind of shelved him for about a week, and he's kind of playing catch-up now.
Fouled out of play.
Brian Knight, the plate umpire, is a low ball umpire. You're not going to see many high strikes given to pitchers from Knight up around the belt, but he has a pretty wide zone down around the knees on both sides of the plate. He'll give width in and he will give it out.
Belt holding on Crisp. Got him.
But all spring long, his specialty pitches have been quick. And when he gets you into a 2-strike hole, when he's right, he's got 4 ways he can get you a strikeout. That's a split finger fastball that just absolutely disappears, and Jaso a victim.
Here's Lowry. It may be that Lowry is going to end up being the starting shortstop for this A's team. Good player. Last year, he had a nice season with the Houston Astros. And probably very pleased that he's not in Houston anymore. Cespedes to follow. Crisp at first. The ball's in 1 strike.
Big curveball. Let's take a look at that defense playing behind Tim Lincecum today for the Giants. Starting on the outfield from left to right, it'll be Torres, Pagan, and Pence. Likely to be the opening day outfield. Crawford and Arias on the left side of the infield. Noonan and Belt on the right side. And Buster Posey will be in the squad putting down the signs.
Outside corner, 0-2.
Starting to get that ball down now. When he gets down around the knees, it always seems to follow that he's able to locate inside and out. When he's missing upstairs, it always seems to follow that he has a problem locating in and out. And he's not an easy guy to catch when he's not getting that fastball down.
And Lowry barely got a piece, and he lives to see another pitch.
Lincecum, a much thicker athlete through the chest this year than we've ever seen him. In the offseason, worked hard with a personal trainer, put on solid weight, really filled out, stronger.
And it's high and no throw, and Chris will steal it.
Well, what has always been a weakness for Tim Lincecum is that at times it just seems like he gets in the strikeout mode. It doesn't pay a lot of attention to the runners on base. And you can see the 4-step lead before he got rid of the ball, and Buster Posey he can't even get off a throw.
So it's 1-2 to Lowry. And this is dribbled foul down the right field line.
And with a veteran base stealer like Coco Crisp at second base, Lincecum had better vary the look and the rhythm that he gives Coco Crisp, or Crisp will walk right over to third.
And that's who you would face should Crisp end up at third. Outside and high, and it's now 2-2.
Nice velocity on the fastball, 93. We've seen his velocity go anywhere between 90 and 94 miles an hour, and really for the first time in a long time we're seeing more 93s than 91s, and that's a good thing.
High again, 3-2.
Another 3-ball count for Lincecum. 0-2 to 3-2. So far for Lowry, who fought off a nasty 0-2 pitch to stay alive, he's worked the count full, and he should see a ball in the strike zone.
And now Lincecum will spin around and keep an eye on Chris. It is a sellout. You can barely see the grass out on the berms out in left field and right field. A gorgeous day. And the payoff. Got him.
And that's a changeup in a 3-2. And that, folks, is not fair. And when Lincecum won his Cy Young Awards, that's what he could do.
That's Greg Maddox like. Let's get him to 3-2 and throw the changeup.
I mean, there was at one point in time in any part of that swing when Lowry wasn't thinking he was swinging at a fastball, and then it just disappeared.
18 pitches this inning for Lincecum. So here's Cespedes. Couple of home runs, 6 RBIs, hitting at .205 this spring. And he is scary with a capital S.
Now, you're right. When you start talking about bat strength, I mean, he is as strong as anybody in this game. And he hits home runs. And it really has the whole ballpark talking about it. Batting practice during the game.
Kind of like that one. Hit a mile to left field and gone. And that one stayed hit, and it's 2-0 Oakland.
Lincecum, think about that, because he didn't really hang this pitch. Step in the outside corner. Well, on second thought, upon further review, he hung it. And Cespedes took full advantage of the hang middle in above the thigh.
So here's Seth Smith. And a strike to Smith. Unforgiving. Sometimes those hanging breaking balls.
Hanging breaking balls can go as far as any pitch, by the way. I kind of consider myself a connoisseur of hanging breaking ball home runs.
Lincecum with a little tick me off. It's 0-2. On deck is Donaldson. And that fastball is high. 1-2. His first inning's been a little troublesome for Lincecum this spring.
Now, that's kind of been his trademark over the years. It takes him a while to find that rhythm. He's vulnerable. But once he finds it, then he'll cruise. And those were his big years when he was racking up big numbers, strikeouts, wins. ERA was small, winning Cy Youngs.
Lincecum strikes out the side, but he hangs one pitch. And this is what happens. And that's called a big fly. 8-2, Giants coming up. It's 2-0 A's. Giants are coming up, and they'll be facing Tommy Malone. It'll be Pagan, Torres, and Pence. And the cleanup hitter will be Buster Posey. Then it's Belt, Arias, and Crawford. Nick Noonan will hit in the A slot, and Lincecum will pitch in bat 9.
On the hill today for the A's will be the left-hander Tommy Malone, 6 feet tall, 205-pounder, 26 years old, in his second year at the big league level. And this is what he has done so far this spring: 13 1/3 innings, 17 hits allowed. Doesn't walk a lot of people. If you were to say what type of pitcher is he, sort of Tom Glavine-like. He'll turn the ball over against righties, work that outside corner, get a little sink, good changeup, backdoors the breaking ball. Keeps the ball down.
Here's Pagan, who comes in hitting .313 with a home run and 4 RBIs, and he takes a strike. Remember, Pagan was gone for 2 weeks. Played for Team Puerto Rico.
Oh, he lit it up during the WBC. You see his numbers: 364, 12 for 33. And he was the poster child for Team Puerto Rico. And we know how much energy he brings into a clubhouse, but it just seems like he was really enjoying it during the WBC, just like he was enjoying his playoff experience last year when the Giants went.
3-1 to Pagan. Torres, Pence, Posey. And Pagan looked like he was taking all the way. It's now 3-2.
We go back to the WBC, and this is how Pagan started off the game for Team Puerto Rico. First at bat, knocked to right.
Malone had Pagan out in front, and that pop-up is going to sail out of play.
There were not a lot of bright spots in that WBC game for Puerto Rico as they went down to the Dominican Republic in the finals. But what bright spots they did have, Pagan had them.
Cued off the end of the bat, and it's going to fall.
Let's take a look at the A's defensively playing behind Tommy Malone today. We'll start off in the outfield from left to right. It'll be Cespedes, Crisp, and Smith. That's your outfield. Lowry joined by Donaldson on the left side. Sogard and Barton on the right side. And Jaso will be in the squad putting down the signs.
Here's Torres. Torres has been banged up throughout spring training, and he's trying to get to a point where he can stay healthy for a week or two. Bunts this one, and Malone will have to hurry, and he throws low, and Barton with a nice play, and Pagan moves down to second base. I have to believe that if you're Bruce Bochy, if Pagan's button or if Torres is button for a hit, that's fine. But if you're sacrificing in a spring training game in the first inning, Bruce Bochy doesn't want that.
No, I doubt just the way that technique-wise that he went about bunting that ball that he was trying to sacrifice. I think he was trying to bunt for a base hit. And the last thing you want to do when you're bunting for a base hit is bunt it back to the pitcher. You want to go either third base line, first base line. Either make it fair and perfect or let it go foul. Missing in the middle of the diamond, that's a mistake.
Here's Pence.
You watch the technique, and that's really the technique of a guy who's bunting for a base hit. So I like the idea. I just don't like the location.
Pence took a high strike. It's no balls and one strike, hitting .353. 2 home runs this spring, 10 driven in, and he bounces this one into the hole, and Donaldson is going to slow it down, and Pence is aboard. That'll be an infield hit for Hunter Pence.
And he can do that. I mean, he's one of those guys that's got power, but can also leg out an infield hit.
So here's Buster Posey. .226, 3 RBIs for Buster Posey. And he pops the first pitch back and out of play. The 2012 National League Most Valuable Player. The 2012 batting champion in the National League. The 2012 Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, he definitely filled up the mantle 2012.
The leading vote getter for the National League All-Star team. For everybody. Well, there's a couple more that I think I just forgot.
Just all-around bitching guy.
Yeah.
Now, all spring long, he's been looking for a swing. Been out front a lot. And usually, when you watch Posey swing, one of his signatures is how deep he lets that ball get into him.
Smith catching, Pagan tagging, Posey, a sacrifice fly. Giants are on the board. It's 2-1.
And for all you young outfielders out there, it's a nice play by Seth Smith. Doesn't have a chance to get the out at home. Keep the runner at first. Keep him out of scoring position. So he opts to throw to second base. It's called having a smart arm. Nice at bat from Buster Posey to get it done, although he's not going to be happy with the sac fly in spring training.
He's not. And here's Belt, who is just about happy with everything he's doing now, swinging the bat. He's hitting .439.
Every day, Bruce Bochy will ask him, what are you going to do today? And yesterday he asked Brandon Belt that question, and Belt looked at him and said, I'm going to hit for the cycle. Well, he did better than that. Instead of a home run, triple, double, single, he went home run, double, single.
That should count, right?
And I mean, every one of them was hit hard. What he has done in the last half year is really change his swing. And no longer does he have a huge upper body turn and a wrap. He's much more quiet in his upper body, a softer load with his hands. Really has allowed him to get in position now to hit the inside pitch.
Taps this one foul. It's a quick 0-2 for Tommy Malone.
Before, he would hit with a closed stance, and you'd see a lot. You wouldn't see any, if you're pitching to him, you wouldn't see any of the logo, Giants logo, on his chest because he was completely closed up. Then he would start his stride, and he'd actually tuck that front shoulder in more. He would wrap that shoulder, and that would not allow him to get the inside pitch. He would block himself off. Now watch how quiet the upper body is. Now because of that, he's in position to beat the inside pitch. He's always had quick hands. But when you block yourself off by a huge upper body turn, then you eliminate the inside corner. And this spring, he has been killing the inside pitch. And that's unique for a tall hitter.
Malone keeping an eye on Pence. Pence did say earlier in the spring that he wanted to try to steal more bases. And if I remember right, Bruce Bochy stayed pretty quiet on that subject. And now he goes, and it's down low, and Pence is going to steal it.
Well, he had a nice jump. A lot of pure base stealers will tell you it's actually easier to steal off a lefty than it is a righty. I think lefties have a more pronounced tell. They let you know early when they're going home, when they're going to first. And it was very clear the Hunter Pence picked Tommy Malone clean right there.
Pence now in scoring position for Belt. And Belt takes a close pitch. It's 3-2.
I don't know if you'd want to make a habit of taking that one again. That was close.
From the very first day he got to the big leagues, the one thing he could do is take close pitches.
Right down at the outside corner to the knees. That's when if you're the catcher, you have to ask the umpire, was it low or was it outside?
And Belt will see another pitch as he sails this one right over the roof here at Scottsdale Stadium. See the concourse, some of the pictures hanging from a wonderful season last year. And Belt gets tied up, and that'll end the inning. Giants pick up a run on 2 hits. They lead 1. Second inning coming up, 2-1 A's.
You wouldn't trust
7's the big day. The Giants take on the Cardinals. Well, that's big, but this is even bigger. Get to the ballpark early. Giants players and coaches will receive their 2012 World Series rings during the pregame ceremony. First 40,000 fans will receive a replica World Series ring courtesy of AAA. Limited number of tickets are still available. sfgiants.com/tickets. April 7th. Cardinals, Giants, rings. Lincecum to Donaldson. And it's down low. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-1 A's. Top of the second. Two and 0. I brought the subject up 2 days ago to Ryan Vogelsong about getting his ring on April 7th. 2-0 pitch. 3-0. And he made, a gesture like you'd make after you just pitched a shutout. Just fist pump. And he said he cannot wait. Cannot wait. There's a strike. 3-1.
Well, historically, one of the roughest things to be is a player that gets to a team after a team just won a World Series.
That's right.
Because you're looking around the clubhouse and everybody's got a ring on and you're going, I want one of those.
And the walk to Josh Donaldson. All right, Amy G is in the park, and we're going to check in with her right now.
All right, Dwayne and Mike, we have Ron Wotus with us. Of course, he's the Giants bench coach, but he also serves as the infield instructor. And there's quite a competition going on for a backup infield spot with this team. And where are you at with this, Ron? And what do you look for in this final week of spring training?
Well, the competition pretty much continues. We've had some guys hurt, so it's been a good opportunity for a lot of young guys to play. I think this is someone that can handle the position. We need somebody that can play multiple positions, and we want to see productive at-bats as well. So it's just more of the same, and it's the time of the year that they want to impress.
Absolutely. And you're coming off your second World Series win in 3 years. How is 2013 different from 2011 for you guys?
I guess probably the biggest thing is the guys have been through it before. I think that most of our pitching staff, it's a second World Championship, and coming into this camp, we were all excited to see each other. I mean, you always are after you have that success, but I think it was a little more businesslike. I think everybody knows that what we did in the past is behind us, and it's a new season, fresh start, and we have to do it again.
Yeah, the WBC during spring training this year. For some teams, that can break up the flow. But you guys have so many returning players. You already had chemistry set. Did that play a part in just kind of getting the team back together and regrouping after the WBC?
I think so, Amy. The chemistry part of it, it's a close-knit group. We basically have the whole team back, like you said. So that hasn't been an issue. We have missed our guys. I mean, we haven't had our whole team on the field yet, and we only, we're a week away. So we're glad Angel's back. Cassilla's finally back. And we want to play together as a group and get ready to start the season.
I want to ask you about Brandon Belt, and Mike Krukow last inning really broke down some of the adjustments that he's made to his swing, and we've seen so much confidence from him. Is that kind of the normal progression for someone like Brandon, a player like Brandon, to get this confidence in his third season playing now?
Yeah, you'd like to see it. He's been up a couple times. I think now, the things that you tell him, he has the experience under his belt. He understands what you're saying, and now he's able to apply it. I think, when you're younger, you're not quite sure. You hear what they're saying, but you're not ready to make it part of your game. And he's been great offensively, defensively. He's doing the same thing. So his progression and his improvement, he keeps getting better.
Always good stuff from Ron Wotus. Thank you so much for your time. And Dwayne and Mike, let's get it back up to you.
All right. Thanks, Amy. Full count now to Derek Barton with Donaldson at first base after he drew a walk.
A lot of free ball counts today for Lincecum.
Yep. Likely Donaldson will go on this 3-2 pitch. He does. Ball 4.
Well, you hate to think you're out there on the mound that you're creating problems on your own. You're creating problems where you're getting in jams where your opponent's not even swinging the bat, and that's what's happened with Lincecum today. Walked the leadoff hitter in the first. He scored here. He's walked the first two in the second. Very quickly, Dave Righetti's going to come out there and talk about it. And this is going to be all mechanical right now. When we talk about an early rhythm in his motion, slow things down when you start. When a guy is struggling to find a release point, you really can't expect him to pay 100% of the concentration that he needs to hold runners on, because he's concentrating about his mechanics. That's a rough mode to be in as a pitcher, because not only do you let little things like holding runners slide, but you don't compete with the guy in the batter's box like you normally would when you're thinking mechanics. But you have to think about how you're going to get rights, and it will totally take up your concentration. When you have a pitching coach come out there and get you on track, it means everything.
Here's Sogard, and Sogard trying to bunt, misses it, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Tommy Malone is on deck. He's probably not that thrilled that there's no DH in this game.
Either that, or he's been looking forward to these at-bats for the last 2 weeks.
Well, he may be.
Yeah.
But the organization may not be.
They don't like it.
Sogard with a base hit into right center field. It'll knock in 1. So Donaldson's going to score. Over to third goes Barton. And it's a 3-1 game with Malone coming up.
That's the problem, too. You get a couple of walks, and you know you have to get in the strike zone. And when you do get in the strike zone, it's not a quality strike. And we talked about how we saw the hanger that Cespedes hit out of the ballpark. Watch the location right at the belt, perhaps even a bit above, out over the plate. Well, that's T-ball location to a big league hitter.
So here's Malone. And it's down low. Buster Posey surprised that he caught that. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, that's not the way they write it down on the chalkboard as to how to block a pitch, but hey, he stopped it. Ideally, you want to tuck your chin down into your chest. You don't want to turn your head when you're blocking a ball.
And now Sogard's going to take off. Well, I think we've said it before. Not an easy guy to catch.
Well, he's miserable to catch, and the reason for that is he doesn't have great command. You may sit up on an inside corner thinking you're going to get inside fastball, and you'll get one on the other side of the plate. His 2-seam fastball totally has a mind of its own. You're never going to get the same movement twice on it.
Well, I don't know if he knows, but if he doesn't, somebody should tell Lincecum that Malone's not going to swing. I don't think. Except right there. Look out.
Except right there. And here at Scottsdale Stadium, you better look out. You are right on top of the action here.
And that shot right by Bob Melvin. But Bo Mel's smart guy, man. He went to Cal.
Where's Dar?
Swing and a miss.
All of the outs in this game that Lincecum has recorded, he's gotten himself. 4 outs, 4 strikeouts. There's Bullpen.
Good guy.
Good manager.
Voted American League Manager of the Year. Last year, Bullpen, Manager of the Year. Here's Crisp. Giants will play the infield in. And that pitch is down low. On the appeal, they're going to say a swing. It's 0-1. Well, Lincecum is right in the spot that he likes, and that is trying to strike somebody out.
Well, he was a strikeout specialist in his amateur career, strikeout specialist early in his career as a big leaguer, and I do believe when he absolutely needs to get an out, he feels like he can get it himself by way of the strikeout. And that's another example of why Lincecum's tough to catch, because of his 3 specialty pitches, the slider, the curveball, and the split, they're all going to wind up in the dirt. So you know you're going to have to block. Oh, 0-2 to Crisp, who drew a walk in the first.
Got him.
Curveball and a good one. Buster Posey easily recovers, throws him out at first. 5 outs, 5 strikeouts.
He is on pace
To strike out 27 guys.
So here's Jaso, John Jaso, who struck out in the first. Belt knocks it down, doesn't panic, flips to Lincecum, side retired. So Lincecum limits the damage. A's pick up a run. It's 3-1 Oakland. Three runs as we head to the bottom of the second inning. 3-1 Oakland. Sellout crowd here at Scottsdale Stadium. The attendance this spring here in Scottsdale has been very good. Some other areas it's been a little spotty, but the folks from Northern California have supported this 2013 spring training team very well. It is a destination.
Oh, it really is. It's just all about attitude, and the attitude in this little ballpark is just wonderful. It's like a family reunion every time the Giants play here. A lot of fun, a lot of sun, a lot of fun.
It'll be Arias, Crawford, and Noonan facing Tommy Malone. You can always check out the pavilion. We should do a game from out there.
Well, that might be hard. The Firehouse Pavilion.
Arias seeing some playing time with Sandoval on the shelf. He's hitting .262. He's got a home run. He's got 4 driven in. Sandoval a tender elbow. A right tender elbow as this is fouled out of play.
Yeah, elbows can be funny. I mean, they can have a mind of their own. But it's painful to watch Sandoval, who's really been shut down from all baseball activities. No hitting, no throwing. It hasn't been easy for him to sit down.
Now, considering it's possible that nobody last year on the planet played more games than he did. The regular season, spring training, winter ball, BCS, and he didn't miss any of it.
No.
There was probably a couple of pickup games along the way that he didn't tell anybody about.
And backyard wiffle ball game, don't forget those.
Swing and a miss, and Arias is out.
Good 3-2 changeup from Malone. Strikeout number 2.
Here's Crawford. Crawford's having a very good spring. .310, a home run, 6 RBIs. with Nick Noonan on deck. And Crawford with a solid single into center field.
I think you're going to see a different Brandon Crawford offensively this year than what you saw last year. He looks like a different guy.
I think he looks like a different guy during batting practice.
Just to get it in fastball, and he'd wait for it. Middle in, right at the belt. And the thing that sticks out when you watch him at batting practice now is how relaxed he is. I mean, there's no pull, there's no front arm bar through his swing. I mean, he's just nice, quick hands, very relaxed, very quick, and he uses the whole field. And that's the key if you're going to hit for average at the big league level.
Here's Noonan, who's a little tardy, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Giants released Wilson Valdez, who a lot of people thought was going to take that utility spot. And it opened it up for Nick Noonan, who was already optioned to minor league camp as he pops this one up, third base side. It's Donaldson who makes the catch. And when Valdez got released, they brought Noonan back. So here's Lincecum. Snap throw, and he throws it down the right field line as Jaso unleashes one, and Crawford is going to end up on third.
I think spring training is sort of a fun time for catchers because you don't really care if you do throw it away. You get to throw it any base you want to, work on your footwork. That's something you really have to worry about reading in the next day in the paper about how an errant throw cost your team. Be aggressive. And most catchers are down here.
Let's come a chance now to knock in a run. 0-2. The idea here is try to make contact, and it's 1-2. Crawford down the line at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just missed. Good curveball.
Anytime you see a third baseman play way off the line on Lincecum, you start to think he's going to hit the ball right down the line.
Well, if he pulls the ball, he hits it to shortstop. So the third base line is a reality.
3-2.
Got him.
And that'll end the inning. Giants strand 1 through 2. 3-1 A's.
Heffernan Insurance.
always like to hear it from the player himself. So what's going on with your back and how do you feel?
No, I'm fine. I mean, I was able to do baseball activity today, and I just wake up a little tight on my back, but I think that's kind of normal. Nothing really bad, and today I'm way better. I did all my stuff and probably play tomorrow.
Tell us a little bit about your experience playing for Venezuela in the WBC. What was that like?
It was a great experience. Fortunately, thing didn't work out the way we wanted to, and we didn't make it to the second round. But it's always fun to play for your country, and play with all those Venezuelan superstars, and it was a fun time.
You got to play with your Giants teammate Pablo Sandoval, and I know he has a special handshake for every single player on this team. Did he do that with all the Venezuelan players as well?
He tried, but I guess he didn't have enough time.
In a short amount of time, it's hard to come up with that many. Marco, what was it like for you to come into spring training this year as a Giant? You joined the team in the middle of the season in July of last year, but this year you come in as a Giant. What was that like?
It's great. I'm very happy to get back here and wear this uniform and be part of this outstanding organization, and hopefully, we stay healthy and we had a good year this year, and actually next 3 years.
3 years, that sounds even better. Next 3 years. And last one for you, coming in mid-season, you and Hunter both came in July. How rare is it that you guys could have the kind of chemistry that you had so quickly in a season?
Well, a big part was, all my teammates since day one. They just made me feel, like familiar with everybody. Like pretty much, it feels like I already played with them a long time ago, and they just welcomed me very, very nice. Everybody was treating me very nice, and they just make it easier for me.
All right, Marco Scruto, thanks for joining us. Are you getting ready for opening day? Are you ready?
Always.
Best answer possible, Dwayne and Mike.
All right, thanks, Marco. Thanks, Amy. Cespedes works it to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cued off the end of the bat. This will have a lot of English on it as Belt stays with it. Lincecum covering 2 outs. Now, John Miller's going to take my seat. Here on the Comcast side, I'll head over to the KNBR side after this inning. So John and Mike will take over.
The Big Kahuna. Nobody loves spring training more than the Big Kahuna.
Here's Seth Smith, who struck out in the first. Swing and a miss. 0-1. I do say that we missed Dave, though. Dave's had a lot of outside work, college basketball. He's doing the ladies NCAA tournament this weekend. But I miss him. He's part of the family.
I know. They got a chance to work a couple games with Dave. Always enjoyable. But he's putting more miles on his travel card than anybody in the world right now.
1-2 to Smith. Big curveball. I talked to him this morning. He said, this is it. This is the last weekend for basketball, and he'll be ready to roll this week. Down low, 2-2. On deck is Donaldson. Three and 2. Dave Fleming begins his 10th year with the Giants. How about that?
That's amazing.
It was Dave showed up 10 years ago, and he had never shaved, and now he still hasn't shaved.
Well, at least it's up to twice a week.
Payoff pitch, hit on the ground into the hole, and a base hit for Smith.
Nice at bat. 0-2 to a 3-2 challenge, and he pays off. Well, reminder, there are still more than half of the games this year that have tickets of $20 or less. And you can check out sfgiants.com/tickets right now to make your plans before prices increase. Buy early and save. You can see teams like the Phillies and Nationals in May or the Brewers in August. You get these single game tickets, you got to go and you got to get them now because they're going fast. Grab your tickets. Go to sfgiants.com/tickets.
Donaldson drew a leadoff walk in the second, and he eventually scored. Here he takes the ball. 1 ball and no strikes. If you just joined us, Yoenis Cespedes hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. Inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Lincecum just not able to get 0-1. The first pitch strike has been very elusive today.
And he gets a call strike from Brian Knight. 2 balls and 1 strike. Barton to follow. Fouled off the foot of Donaldson. It's 2-2. This is our 3rd game televised, 2nd Comcast. NBC Bay Area did one of the games, and all 3 games Lincecum has started. Up the middle. Crawford on the dive, slows it down, throws from his belly, and what turned out to be kind of fun to watch, it's an infield hit for Josh Donaldson.
And once he got to the ball with 2 outs on contact, Seth Smith was at first base, and he was going to get a pretty good jump, so there was going to be no play at second for Crawford. But still, thought he could make something out of nothing, and look at the balance. Even when he's rolling on his backside, manages to get off a pretty good throw over to Brandon Belt.
He got more in his throw from his butt than I got with 2 legs when I was playing.
Yeah, and 3 crow hops.
Here's Barton, a big swing and a miss, 0-1.
He made a couple of plays yesterday in the Giants-Rockies game over at Salt River that just had the whole place buzzing. And I got to believe right now, the early favorite to win the Gold Glove, the shortstop position in the National League this year, Brandon Crawford.
Could be. Barton goes around, and it's now 0-2.
Barton got the Grizzly Adams look, the Brian Wilson look. Shane Lukes looks like he's starting to get heated up for the Giants out in their pen.
Oh, 0-2 to Barton. Down low, 1-2.
Just not good enough pitches when he's way ahead to invite guys to swing at him. We've seen a lot of 0-2 counts go to 3-2, and a lot of 3-ball counts from Lincecum. Has not been sharp.
Two and two. So Shane Lukes getting loose. In the dirt. Now 3-2.
0-2 to 3-2.
67 pitches for Lincecum.
Yeah, just about all of them have been in the stretch.
Yeah, he walked the leadoff hitter in the first, walked the leadoff hitter in the second, got 2 ground balls here in the third, but then single. And now, as Mike mentioned, another 3-2 pitch coming up to Derek Barton. Runners go, and it's hit on the ground to Noonan. And Noonan will make the play, and that'll end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Giants will have Pagan in the top of the order coming up, 3-1 Oakland.
Welcome back to the Giants game. The Oakland A's leading 3-1 as we head into the bottom of the third. And we would just like to give a shout out to some very special people here at Scottsdale Stadium this afternoon. They're the sponsors for Comcast Sportsnet. They've enjoyed a really fun weekend. Some have golfed, some spa time, some even climbed Camelback Mountain. And we want to say a big thank you to two new sponsors, Yvonne Hernandez from Sleep Train and Renee Scott of Togo's. Gentlemen, I worked at Togo's in high school, and I can still make a very mean 24. That's turkey and avocado. Thanks to the sponsors, guys.
If that's the case, Amy, then we'll expect one on the first homestand. And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we will be the judge, Amy. No self-promoting when it comes to sandwich making.
I could make a mean sandwich. Okay, we'll see. But welcome our sponsors, new sponsors. We'll have the dinner tonight out at the Scottsdale Princess.
Get your speech all ready?
Speech is ready. Bruce Bochy's going to be there. I know Brandon Belt's going to be there. You will be there. Pagan takes down low. 1 ball and no strikes. Pagan opened up the bottom of the first with a looping single into right field. He tries to check his swing, and that evens the count at a ball and a strike. Really a break. I don't want to say a breakout season for Pagan, but a terrific season at the right time because he was a free agent at the end of the year.
Well, he has really established himself after the season he had last year, not just in the regular season. It's what he did in the postseason, and what that can do to the confidence of a player is he could send it off the charts. In the eyes of the players, you really gain a reputation in the months of September and October. And when you can perform like he did in those 2 months, that's something you take with you the rest of your career. It's a huge positive.
Big tapper to Donaldson. Well, Giants will head home next week, and it'll be the Giants and the A's. That's game 1 of the Bay Bridge series at AT&T Park, and we'll have that for you right here in Comcast Sportsnet. Bay Area coverage begins at 6:30 with the 2013 Giants preview show, and then we'll have the game at the top of the hour. It's the Giants and the A's, so check us out right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Be nice to do a game from our TV booth. We obviously didn't do any during postseason. We did a lot of games from the KMBR booth. So we'll be back really at home for us in our booth on Thursday night. As Torres skies this one out to right field.
So it sounds like you're getting pretty pumped up about getting back to our booth.
It's probably going to be Lincip again, right?
Yeah, it will be.
There's president and general manager on our left, Ted Griggs, doing a little play-by-play. Patsy Leone, who takes care of us every time we come down here for the main event.
You're trying to take our job, partner.
Yeah, I know what Patsy's saying.
What's that?
That's right, Ted.
Oh, so you were the Kansas.
Well, that's what you do with the boss, isn't it?
That's right.
All right, Hunter Pence up.
Pence with an infield hit in the first inning. Here he takes a strike at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tommy Malone does what Tommy Malone does best, and that's keep hitters off balance. Hit on the ground sharply, and Donaldson will make the play, and that'll end the inning. John Miller will be over on the Comcast side. I'll see you back in the 7th here. It's 3-1 Oakland.
There's a place
Well, opening week at AT Park features 2 great heritage nights. Irish Heritage Night on April 8th will include a pregame party in Seals Plaza and an Irish Piper Lucille bobblehead. Also, Chinese Heritage Night on April 9th will include a collectible Year of the Snake bobblehead. Both events require a special ticket purchase to receive the giveaway item. You go to sfgiants.com/special events, or you can call 415-972-2298. We're going to the top of the 4th inning. A's on top of the Giants right now, 3-1. Here to tell you all about it, John Miller. Welcome, Kahuna.
Hey, thanks. As Sogard, the 8th place hitter, leads off against Lincecum. And a fastball at 88 miles an hour for a called strike. There have not been that many first pitch strikes for Lincecum so far. That was his 70th pitch overall. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sogard got a base hit and an RBI back in the 2nd inning. The Giants bullpen is busy in the dirt, and the count is 2-1.
A's really have not been going after a lot of his pitches down below the strike zone, John. They've been very selective.
And that's the way Doug Melvin wants him to be. As you see Dan Runsler, the left-hander, warming up in the bullpen. That's a foul out of play on a fastball. And it is 2-2. Lincecum at 72 pitches. He threw 68 in his start last Sunday here, which was only his 3rd start in a Cactus League game. Two and 2 pitch in the dirt with the curveball, and it's a full count at 3-2. Now, right now, Lincecum probably lines up to be what, the Game 3 starter against the Dodgers. So he would have one more exhibition start before then. 3-2 pitch. There's a base hit to center field. Sogard is 2 for 2.
Now, right now, Lincecum has had a lot of 3-ball counts today. He's been pitching behind a lot. And he really has not been very efficient with his pitch count. Now, the good news is, from a Cactus League standpoint, the idea is to stretch your arm out, get strong enough to throw a certain number of pitches. Today, he'll be allowed to throw right around 80. And you want to be able to be responsible for 100 pitches when you leave spring training. He's on par and on schedule to do that. But you want to be able to get 6 innings out of those 100 pitches, 7 innings out of those 100 pitches. And as he's using them up, he's in a lot of what he has done today has been out of the stretch. He has not been efficient with his pitch count. You cannot average 20 pitches an inning and expect to go very deep into a ball game. With the way that baseball is today, the pitch count determines everything for a starting pitcher.
And if you're a Giants fan, you can't help but think those first 3 innings here today look so much like so many early innings and so many starts last year. Here's Malone showing bunt, and he takes very high and outside for ball 1. But as you say, again, that's not the way Dave Righetti's looking at it. For him, it's more about getting the arm ready to go, lengthening it out a little bit. Malone already showing bunt. Diving back to first is Sogard. He's had 8. You mentioned these 3-ball counts. He's had 8 3-ball counts to the first 17 hitters that he faced. Off the outside, it's 2-0 to Tommy Malone. Arias from third, Belt from first, getting right in on top of the hitter, looking for that bunt. 2-0. Leadoff man Coco Crisp is on deck. There's the bunt. Up the first base side, foul. Buster Posey coming out of the crouch and going after that one. 2-1 the count. Tomorrow, the Giants will play over in Tempe. That'll be on the radio only, on the Giants KNBR radio network. And Barry Zito will make that start. I guess Zito right now lines up to start the home opener on April the 5th against the Cardinals at AT Park.
Game 4 of the season. Barry certainly a veteran of those type of assignments. A lot of distraction coming back home, open up against the Cardinals, the team the Giants beat in the NLCS.
Malone not bunting. Base hit to left field. 2-1 count. Brandon Belt was very relieved to see him hit that ball somewhere other than right at Brandon Belt, because Belt was racing in. He was right on top of him. Was a little shocked to see him swing away. Here comes Bruce Bochy. Tim Lincecum now at 79 pitches and into immediate trouble here in the fourth inning. He's allowed 6 hits and 3 walks. And 3+ innings for Lincecum as he departs. Dan Runzler in from the bullpen. 3-1 Oakland. We'll be right back.
What you got?
Giants Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Moskowitz. Aggressive, accessible, experienced tax lawyers.
Beautiful day in Scottsdale, Arizona. A Cactus League friendly. The Giants and the Athletics, the All Bay Area Cactus League matchup here in the desert. The Athletics with a 3-1 lead. Dan Runzler inherits a tight spot. 2 men on, nobody out. And the top of the order coming up.
There you see the numbers for Runzler. I mean, he was having a great spring until his last outing when he really had a bout of wildness. And it cost him 5 earned runs, which really blew his ERA up. And for Runzler, he's had great stuff. He's really been the talk of camp until his last outing. So this is a significant opportunity for him.
Coco Crisp now batting right-handed. The foul ball makes it 0-1. Crisp has walked, stolen a base, and scored a run, and he has also struck out. That strikeout was one of Lincecum's best sequences. Looked like he threw 3 straight curveballs in the dirt. He got him to swing at every one of them.
Yeah, all 3 quality curveballs. Well, for Runzler, significant opportunities. You need those to make a team, and this is one of them.
He looks the runner back at second. Sogard. John Jaso, a left-handed hitter, is on deck. Lincecum went 3 innings plus so far, charged with 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. In the dirt with a slider. Buster Posey, he might like to have an inning with a pitcher that threw no balls in the dirt at him. So how many balls has he blocked in the dirt today?
Well, if Lincecum threw 65 pitches.
He threw 79.
79? Okay, I'd say 31. But that's pretty standard. Lincecum not the easiest guy to catch.
Along the right field line, Hunter Pence on the run. Foul ground. Ooh, not quite. Almost a great catch by Hunter Pence. Went into a slide to try and keep his momentum from carrying him right into the wall out there.
Well, and I think if he plays here every day, you make a play like that because you're more familiar with your surroundings. New ballparks, they can put a little doubt in an outfielder's mind, a corner outfielder's mind, when he's going across the foul line as to how much room you have. Here you got tons of room.
Wind blowing out toward right field. In the hole, Crawford They get the force out at second. Noonan stretching out like a first baseman to take the throw. Tommy Malone out at second with Sogard going to third, and Crisp safe at first. That play was not maybe as simple as you might have thought on a force out, because Arias cutting over from third, and it looked like for a moment Crawford thought he was going to get the ball, and a little bit surprised when it got past Arias. But that's the Cactus League, right? The ball just shoots across this infield so quickly.
Hard infields, high bounces. Really can put an infielder back on his heels.
Ended up being a nice play for Crawford. Jaso, the new Oakland catcher acquired from Seattle in the offseason, and it's a foul off the left field line. Fan took his hat off, tried to catch it with that. You only catch the ball with the hat in the movies. Madonna, in A League of Their Own, caught one with her hat. In real life, how often does that happen?
Just doesn't happen very often.
Bring the glove. Come on. Yeah, there you go.
She's got hers. Gamer babe.
One strike to count to Jaso, who has struck out and grounded out. First and third. And there's a ball down the left field line, slicing, foul. Hit sharply, but foul.
Let's take a look at the fans' attempt with the hat. That was feeble. I'm sorry. Plus, you have to have at least a pro-fit hat. You can't have the little loop in the back where you have the adjustable size piece of plastic.
Yeah. Get a real hat.
That's right. I mean, you have a better chance of trying to catch that ball with a dish rag than that hat. Come on.
0-2 the count. Another block by Buster Posey. By our unofficial count, that's 32 balls blocked in the dirt by Buster today.
You know you're going to get a workout on days that Lincecum pitches. I mean, that's a given. And you can say the same thing about Runsler. I mean, he can make you work if you got the catching gear on.
First and third, one out. Runsler with a kick and throw to first. Coco Crisp, who got his first steal of the spring back in the first inning against Lincecum. Lincecum really just seemed to forget all about him. Coco took advantage. So Runsler paying attention, trying to keep the double play in order here. 1-2 the count. There goes Crisp in the dirt, and that one got by Buster, who had jumped to his feet to make a throw to second, and then the ball in the dirt from Runsler, and a run scores. It's 4-1 Oakland.
And I think that's the hardest thing for a catcher to do. When you have first and third and you see a guy start to break, ball in the dirt, you kind of automatically come up, and if the ball skims and stays down, you're not going to be able to hang in there and block it.
So a steal for Crisp and a wild pitch charged to Runsler for the run scoring. Up the middle, Crawford after a long run to his left. Nice play. The spin and the throw. And Jaso, who runs pretty well for a catcher, retired. Crisp over to third.
Well, just remarkable athleticism. And look at the balance as he's going full bore. 360, and he gets to his back foot and somehow manages a perfect strike over to Bell to complete the out. That is the big leagues, and that's what this guy does so well. You talk about spring and a strong pair of legs. He's got him.
Now Jed Lowry. Off the glove of Buster Posey, and coming in to score, Coco Crisp. And it's 5-1. That'll be scored as a pass ball against Buster. That's his second of the day.
Well, if Lincecum is the toughest guy to catch in camp, Dan Runsler is right there behind him. And the problem with a high fastball, and they may think about this one before they give the pass ball because it was so high. You're sitting up there looking down and in. This thing goes on the opposite end of the strike zone and above the strike zone. It's very difficult to recover and get up and make the play. Now, if you ask Buster Posey, he's going to tell you, I should have had it. And the pass ball probably will stay. But from an official scorer standpoint, he might at least think about it.
2-0 the count. And Lowry, the switch hitter, batting right-handed, takes ball 3. Base is empty now. 5-1 Oakland. Dan Runsler all over the place today. There's a strike.
Up until his last outing, he had been in command of his stuff, and his stuff has always been good. You're talking low to mid-90s with the fastball. 2 types of movement. Not slowing down any cells in the dugout store, however.
Oh, that's called ball 4. So Runsler, he'd gotten a couple of outs. He got a couple of ground balls for outs, although wildness cost him a couple of runs. And here comes Bruce Bochy. Runsler at 14 pitches for the inning. You've got the right-handed hitting Yoenis Cespedes coming up. Bochy got a right-hander up in the bullpen. And apparently the call has been made. Chance with the pitching change. Trailing 5-1 to the Athletics. And the slugger Cespedes coming up.
Up to an
The Giants trailing the A's here in the All-Bay area matchup in the desert on a beautiful day. 5-1 Oakland. And with 2 down, here is the powerful Yoenis Cespedes. Jed Lowry over at first. Bell on the bag with him as Shane Lukes in from the bullpen. And that is in for a called strike. 0-1. Now Cespedes, they had a very strong rookie season for Oakland, even though he got hurt at one point, missed a lot of games. Had 23 homers, stole 16 bases, played an excellent outfield, 129 games played. That's a fair ball. Cutting over to pick it up is Torres. Round to third goes Lowry. Holding it first with a single is Cespedes. Cespedes put Oakland on the board first against Lincecum with a man aboard in the first.
Yeah, big old hanging breaking ball, middle in, boom. They set that target away. You saw Buster Posey come back to the inside part of the plate, and there's the result. I don't think he got all of it. It was loud, but I don't think he got both cheeks into it. Very impressive strength, this young man. Wow.
Cespedes is aboard after his second hit of the day. He's 2 for 3, and here is Seth Smith, the left-handed batter, struck out and singled. In for a called strike with a changeup, and it's 0-1. There's another Cuban emigre in the Dodgers camp this spring. Yasiel Puig, P-U-I-G. And apparently he's a monster. He's hit some spectacular home runs. He's hitting over 500 for the spring in the Cactus League with the Dodgers. Count now 0-2 to Smith. But he's also about 6 years younger than Cespedes. He's 21 years old. And even Don Mattingly, his manager with the Dodgers, says he's very, very raw. So they have him tabbed to go to Double-A ball when the spring is over. But they are very excited about what they've seen from him so far. Remember that name, Yasiel Puig. There's a ball in the dirt on the inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Cespedes was asked about him after playing a game against the Dodgers the other day. And he was very complimentary to his fellow countrymen, saying, wow, he's better than I knew that he was. And you make any kind of mistake to him or get anywhere near the strike zone, and he's hitting the ball extremely hard over and over again. He's big, strong, he's fast, and very powerful. Yasiel Puig. Off the fist, up the middle, and through. Base hit. Almost a comebacker to Lukes, but he could not handle it. I think it hit the tip of his glove and made it through. Scoring is Lowry. Cespedes goes to third, and Smith, with his second hit of the day, gets an RBI. It is 6-1.
So maddening for a pitcher when you do catch a piece of a comebacker, because you feel if you could touch it, you can make the play. Ball hit to his glove hand side, just reaches out and just barely catches the tip of his web. Giants are playing him to pull on the right side, so Nick Noonan, the second baseman, really didn't have a chance to make that play.
Now Josh Donaldson, 2 straight hits allowed by Lukes. Called a ball. Brian Knight, not much for giving the high strike right there. Maybe he was off the inside as well. 1 ball, no strikes.
Knight is a low ball guy. You don't see many belt highs called strikes.
Runners at first and third. 3 runs are in. That's hit a mile foul deep down the left field line into the trees.
Yeah, that's a feel good strike right there. If you're Josh Donaldson, that felt good. Right on the sweet spot.
It's fun to watch him. I like watching foul ball homers. That was aesthetically very pleasing. 1-1 the count. And the slider. He tried to do it again.
Well, I think if you're in the batter's box and you hit one about 380 feet foul for a strike, you're thinking home run. It messes with your head. As soon as you try to lift and separate, you become one-sided. And you're kind of vulnerable to the outside corner. Trying to yank.
Off the right field line, Hunter Pence on the run, but in amongst the spectators here at Scottsdale Stadium. And there are a lot of spectators at the game today.
Kellicorn. You a Kellicorn guy?
Yeah, I know people here in the Valley that have a Kellicorn business. I get all the Kellicorn I want, Mikey. You need any? Let me know.
Yeah, I like that Kellicorn. That's good stuff.
Strike 3 call. At long last, the inning is over. 3 more runs for Oakland. Buster Posey, then Brandon Belt coming up. 6-1, the Giants trail.
A's as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. A reminder to stay up to date on everything Giants with CSNBayArea.com's insider, Andrew Baggerly. You can follow Bags on Twitter at CSNBags. Log on to CSNBayArea.com all season long to read Andrew's news notes and everything on the San Francisco Giants. There's Andy. Oh, yeah.
He's got a nice Nick Noonan piece on the website, CSNBayArea.com, right now. Check it out. Also here with us, Amy G.
All right, thanks so much. Oh, Matt Cain's singing over here. He likes this song. He got caught. Matt, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about how your spring training has gone. You've pitched 20 innings so far. What are you happy with? What do you work on this final week?
It's been good. You know, I've kind of faced every situation. A couple outings, I've given up some runs I didn't want to give up, but it's a learning process. You're trying to remember what you've done and use that to your advantage maybe down the road. But that's just kind of how spring goes, and you make your mistakes now, and you hope we get those out of the way.
You were announced as the opening day starter for the Giants. That's quite an honor. It's a week away, so how do you kind of handle the honor of that and yet not get too far ahead of yourself and still work on what you need to this final week?
Yeah, I'm trying to just take it like another start. It's definitely an honor to get the opening nod, and you get to kind of go through all the hoopla the opening day brings. But really, once the game gets started, it's just another day, and you got to go out there and pitch and do well.
And you've been through some pretty big pressure situations. It's your first career opening day start, but as we were just talking about, Matt actually started on all 3 clinch games in the postseason. Does that experience help you going into something like an opening day start?
Yeah, it does, because you're used to kind of some of the pregame stuff, so that won't be a big deal. You're used to worry about staying on your routine and whatever you usually do to get the game started. But it's always nice to be out there and be a part of it. But it'll be just as good go out there and start it.
I posed this question to Ron Modis earlier in the game, and I'm curious your take, having won 2 World Series now in 3 years. Not that it will ever get old hat, but how is this round going into the next season, 2013, different from when you went into 2011, coming off your first World Series win?
I think we were able to maybe put some of the stuff that happened last year maybe past us a little bit quicker. I think we still are kind of on that high of what happened last year, and we still talk about it, but it's one of those things where I think we used our experience to where we can go about this season and know that we've got a lot of work to do to get back to where we want to.
Last one for you. I'm just curious who during spring training so far has impressed you? Maybe somebody fans might see in the near future, or somebody that's been on the team. Who has impressed you so far?
We've just had a good bit of guys. Belt's actually, he's not impressing anybody because we've seen him, but, Belt's been swinging the bat really well. And, we've just got a lot of guys that have been here and throwing the ball well and, playing well. And I think Q, one of the catchers that we've had, he's done a great job back there, and I think he's opened some eyes.
I should ask you one more. I lied. I totally lied. Your starting staff all returning, so you get another season with each other. How much confidence does that give you guys?
It does. I think it does, because we're used to working to each other, and we're used to kind of what helps motivate us in between starts, and I think that's always a benefit is you kind of know how to push your buttons in between the starts and get guys going, and then we can also feed off of each other, throughout the season.
Matt told me he really didn't want to do this interview, and you sold it.
You made me do it, so this is my sad face.
I cracked the whip. John and Mike, up to you.
Thanks, Amy. And after the walk to Buster Posey, Brandon Belt hits one deep into center, caught by Coco Crisp. Belt, who struck out his first time. A long fly ball out. This time it's 430 feet to straightaway center here at Scottsdale Stadium. So 1 out in the 4th inning.
Well, I like the question she asked about where you are in spring training. And I think across the board around baseball, you've put your homework in. You've done the things you need to do to get ready. Now it's just a matter of filling out the string of games that are left on the spring training schedule. And health is everything. Because as we're looking across baseball right now, there have been a number of significant injuries, some in the National League West, that will affect the Giants.
Well, as Arias takes a called strike from Tommy Malone, and it's 0-1. Arias struck out his first time. Giants will open the series at Dodger Stadium, or open the season at Dodger Stadium with a 3-game series, and they won't be facing Hanley Ramirez in that one. Ramirez going to miss the first couple of months of the season, it appears, and it's 0-2. And Arizona is going to be without the young, exciting center fielder Adam Eaton. Now, I say center field. He played center field when they brought him up last year. He might play any one of the outfield positions this year. But Eaton got hurt yesterday. Check swing foul.
And a lot of those significant injuries have come in the WBC. Mark Teixeira, he went down with an injury. David Wright with the Mets, he went down with an injury that he got during the WBC. And you mentioned Hanley Ramirez. That's a hand injury that he had to have surgery on. It's going to be 8 weeks for Hanley Ramirez.
He got hurt at AT Park, oddly enough, making a dive for a ground ball. That will go back out of play. And Mark Teixeira actually got hurt before ever even appearing in the WBC. His first day leaving the Yankees and going to the WBC Team USA camp, he was actually hitting balls off a tee and injured his wrist, which I suppose could have happened if he'd stayed in Yankees camp. Base hit to left field. Pretty gritty at bat there by Arias. Here's the play, Mike, on which Hanley Ramirez got hurt in the WBC final.
Really, you look at it as kind of a routine play for a third baseman, just going to his left and diving on a ball as he's playing in even with a bag. But as he came down, he landed on his hand, and it really lit up in his right wrist immediately, and he was trying to find some comfort with it the rest of the game. They did an MRI on it, and lo and behold, it's substantial to the point that it's going to require surgery.
Two men out with the Giants, and here is Brandon Crawford.
That's not the type of publicity they want with the WBC. It's always been a concern about injuries to players playing in it.
The curveball in there for a strike to Crawford. Well, there have been a lot of other injuries this spring that had nothing to do with the WBC. For instance, for the Yankees, their starting center fielder, Curtis Granderson, who hit 43 home runs last year in his first at bat in the Grapefruit League, got hit in the arm and broke his arm. He's going to miss the first 8 to 10 weeks of the season. Teixeira is going to miss about the same amount of time. A-Rod, if he gets back at all this season, he got hurt. He had some surgery in his hip and whatnot, and he's not. They're not even thinking that he'll be back until July or August if he gets back at all this year. Derek Jeter broke his ankle in the postseason last year. Nice pickup by Martin. Gets one at second. Back to first. Not in time. Well, almost a spectacular double play. Lowry's throw. Back to Martin just a little bit late. Buster Posey goes to third. Arias out at second.
You said spectacular, and I agree. Very quick to that plant foot. The key, especially when you have a guy who's got above average speed going down the line, you've got to get that ball to the shortstop quickly. And Martin did that very thing very nicely. I always talk about the dance of every position. There was the footwork and the dance of the first baseman, and he executed that throw to second perfectly.
Nick Noonan now. Noonan, who hit a home run yesterday up the road in Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Curveball in for a strike. He popped out to third his first time against Malone today. 6-1. The Giants are trailing in the fourth inning.
Jalapenos on a hot dog? I'm in. I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get that.
That's a big dog. How many pounds was that dog? 0-2 the count now to Noonan. Shane Lukes is out on deck. Nobody warming up in the Giants bullpen. Tim Lincecum lasted only 3+ innings. We're in the fourth, and the Giants are trailing the A's 6-1. 0-2 count. And Malone wastes one off the outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice pitch. Paralysis fastball, just missing.
Nick Noonan, who he got sent back to the minor league camp on the 15th. And then he got brought back about 6 days later. Up the middle, base hit. Nice moment for Noonan. Knocks in Posey. And Crawford goes round to third, and it is 6-2 Oakland.
I'll tell you, that's a big swing in the bat. Now, yesterday he had a 1-for-4, one of those hits being a long home run, but he hit it off the right-hander. In his first 2 at-bats against Christian Friedrich, the left-handed starter for the Rockies, he struck out. He didn't look good. So here, getting a second at-bat against the left-handed Malone, and in an RBI situation with 2 outs, down 5, he comes up big. Got a good pitch to hit out of the middle, and didn't do too much with it. Just a nice, quick swing of the bat to cash in on the RBI. That's the type of memory you want to put in your manager's mind.
So here's Lukes, the pitcher. And it's 0-1.
Pretty good hack.
So Lukes, the Giants need a little more depth out of the bullpen today, with Lincecum only going into the fourth inning. So Lukes is up there batting for himself. 2 men on, 2 men out. Malone, and the count goes to 1-1. Lukes is a guy, he's been around a long time. He is somebody who has persevered. Luke's is a guy without a whole lot of big league experience, but he broke into the professional baseball in 1997. And it's 1-2. He's been in a few games with the Angels in the American League. Got into 19 games with the Giants last year. And 10, 11 years ago, he got his major league baptism with the Detroit Tigers in a few games. Right there, outside corner at the knees. Beautifully placed by Malone to end the inning. Giants get a run. We're going to the 5th inning. 6-2, Oakland. You're watching San Francisco Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. And we are in the Valley of the Sun in the Sonoran Desert. Although it's the all Bay Area matchup here in Scottsdale. Oakland leading the Giants 6-2 after 4 innings. Big crowd is here, including the Giants president, CEO Larry Baer, but also sitting right behind him is Bill Gates. Gates wearing a Giants cap. And Larry Baer said they're working on him, showing allegiance to the Giants. He lives up in the Seattle area, and he kind of favors the Seattle Mariners. We told him, well, that's your American League team, no question. But so perhaps the Giants are now his National League favorite. We'll see.
Well, he looks good in orange. Got a Giants cap on, as you mentioned.
Guillermo Quiros now catching Buster Posey. Out of the game, Buster, who had a sacrifice fly and a walk, had a hand in each of the Giants' 2 runs up till now. Shane Luke's on the mound with a 2-0 count to Derek Barton. Barton is the kind of guy gets a lot of walks. The count's always 2-0 or 3-1, 3-2 to Derek Barton. Pagan battling the sun. 1 away.
Never an easy automatic out when you see a fly ball leave the bat and head towards center field this time of year, because the sun is right behind home plate, and when you look up as a center fielder into the sky, it's not an easy assignment to find the ball, let alone catch it. That's what you're looking into, the high Arizona sky.
Pagan's first game back from the World Baseball Classic. He made the All-WBC All-Star team. Hit .364 for Team Puerto Rico with a .464 on base average.
He said he had an absolute blast. He said for the finals game against the Puerto Rico played the Dominican Republic, 76% of the island of Puerto Rico were watching that game. He was quite proud of that.
Sogard deep into right. That's on its way back there, and a long home run. Well out of here by Eric Sogard, and Oakland has a 7-2 lead.
3 hits on a day for Sogard.
2 earlier singles. Now a home run. The homer is his first of the spring.
Well, they set up on the outside corner. And it looked like a big breaking ball that dropped in the middle in about thigh high. And he was not fooled to the speed at all.
Hit well by Malone. And pins at the wall.
It gives you an idea how the ball's carrying today. As John mentioned earlier, wind is blowing out to right field. But when a pitcher hits a ball off the end of the bat and it gets almost to the wall, it makes you scratch your head if you're out there on that pitcher's mound.
So here's Coco Crisp, the leadoff man. Well, this ballpark is built, it's a little bit bigger than the park where the Giants played yesterday up at Talking Stick. That has a long name, that park, the Salt River Fields at Talking Stick in Scottsdale, north of where the Giants play, near the 101. And that's just part of the name.
Arizona, United States, Western Hemisphere.
0-2 the count to Crisp, who has walked, stolen a base, scored a run. He has struck out, and then he hit into a forced play, stole a base, scored another run his last time. So Crisp is officially no hits, 2 at bats for the day, but he scored 2 runs. 7-2, the A's lead the Giants. 5th inning. Back out of play, deep and foul. Out toward one of the practice fields. Or actually, near this ballpark, the practice field. And then the Giants have the minor league complex over at the Indian School complex. Lukes strikes out Crisp on a ball in the dirt. Quiros tags him out. 7-2 Oakland. Pagan, Torres, and Pence coming up.
After going solar.
Welcome back to the Giants broadcast. Oakland A's leading at this point 7-2 going into the bottom of the 5th. And this is for the fans at home. If you are unable to make it down to Los Angeles for opening day on April 1st, don't worry about it. Come join us at AT&T Park for Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area's authentic opening day. We're going to have our own party there at the park, and it is free admission. The gates open at noon. Free hot dogs for the first 5,000 people, a ton of giveaways, and the World Series trophy will be on display, so come and join us, gentlemen.
All right, Amy. Sounds like fun. The Giants and the Dodgers will get the 2013 season kicked off at Dodger Stadium, and you can be part of the action in San Francisco with other Giants fans. Here is Angel Pagan to lead off against Oakland left-hander Tommy Malone. Malone acquired last year before the season in the deal that sent Gio Gonzalez to Washington. 1 ball and no strikes to Pagan, who has singled and scored a run and has grounded out to third. Giants have 5 hits against Malone. off the outside. 2-0. Torres on deck, then Hunter Pence. Wow. Got some walk action going there.
That's a 4-alarm blaze right there.
I don't know what he's cooking, but I want some. Got a little stir fry action out there. Coco Crisp. He was really battling the sun. And he went to a spot that must have been 20 feet away from where he ended up catching that ball when I think when he finally saw it.
Oh yeah, throw a little broccoli in there. Peppers. He is wearing that cucumber. Oh, that's another zucchini. Oh my.
Now that's my idea of good ballpark food.
That ain't the first time he's cut one of those things up, I got to tell you.
Now cutting that stuff up, that'd be several minutes for me to get one of those.
Oh yeah,
cut up.
Not too many seeds dropped in there. I'm impressed.
Andres Torres had a bunt in the first inning. He tried to bunt for a hit, I thought. He got thrown out, but moved the runner up, and it helped set up a run. And then he had a shallow fly ball to right his last time. So officially he's 0 for 1. He got credit for a sacrifice in that bunt in the first. Into the hole at short. And what a play by Jed Lowry. The new acquisition picked up from the Houston Astros. He had to get rid of that ball in a hurry with Torres being a fast runner.
Well, he knew he didn't have time to set his feet, so he just throws on the run. I mean, that's a shortstop's play because it takes a lot of arm strength to get enough throw over there to beat that runner, and in the end it was not even close. That was a beautiful play. A's fans are going to love Jed Lowry.
Hunter Pence now. Right to Lowry. Scalded that ball, but right to Lowry. Pence is 1 for 3. 7-2 Oakland. Jaso, then Lowry coming up.
Heading to the top of the 6th inning. Reminder, the Giants home opener is Friday, April 5th. They're going to take on the St. Louis Cardinals, the same team they played in the National League Championship Series. And the only way to be guaranteed a seat to see that game is through an opening day 6-pack. There's only a limited number of 6-packs remaining. So if you want to be there for the opener, plus you get 5 other pre-selected games this season, go to sfgiants.com/tickets and purchase. I'm impressed. Kellicorn, welding mask. He has got the process down. Battle of the Bay. A lot of Giants fans, A's fans here. A lot of fun.
Giants, meanwhile, have reworked their outfield. As Cole Gillespie has gone into left field. And Andres Torres has moved from left field to right field. So Hunter Pence is out of the game. There's Gillespie in left. And Gregor Blanco, there's Torres now in right. He looks just the same, though, as he looked when he played left. I don't see any difference there. That's Blanco now in center. Pagan is out. And also a new pitcher has come in for the Giants. Santiago Casilla, number 46. Also back from the World Baseball Classic. And, you know, there's some talk, Mike, in camp that he pitched so well for the champion Dominican Republic team that the Giants are talking about that they could foresee some save opportunities upcoming for him, although Sergio Romo is going to be listed as the closer when the season begins. John Jaso, the catcher for Oakland, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
Now, Casilla was the setup man for the Dominican Republic team. He pitched that 8th inning and get the ball to the closer, Fernando Rodney, who had 7 saves. Just had an outstanding WBC tournament, but they all raved about the consistency and the stuff of Santiago Casilla. Now, Giants fans know that. He had 25 saves last year, more than capable of closing out a game, and he will be asked to do that very thing again this year.
Left center field. Base hit. And through, extra base hit. Blanco finally comes up with it, and Jaso keeps going. Crawford's relay. Chief! Jaso runs better than your ordinary catcher.
He's got a nice opposite field approach, too. He hits a ball well to left field as a left-handed hitter. He set up in the outside corner. Pitched right there between the knees, so it wasn't a mistake to location. And Jaso just goes out there and just cuts that thing in the left center field gap. And he was thinking 3 bags as soon as he got out of the box. Good relay from Crawford. Arias thought they had him, but as you see in the replay, he did not.
So now Jed Lowry, 0 for 2 with a walk. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. 0-1. Well, they say that General Manager Billy Beane of the Athletics really had his sights set on getting Jed Lowry, knowing that he could play almost anywhere in the infield. He's a switch hitter. He's got power. Lowry out of Stanford, originally with the Red Sox, but just had a hard time staying in the lineup because he kept getting hurt. With Houston last year, and he was the real bright spot of that lineup the first half of the season. Hit 16 home runs, most of them in that first half, but then he got hurt. Did he swing? No. That ball, again, if the pitch is around the belt, apparently that's too high to be called a strike right now by Brian Knight.
I was really surprised to see the trade go down between the Astros and the A's, and enabling Lowry to come to Oakland. Simply because when you're rebuilding a franchise, you want to start becoming solid in the middle of your field. And with the combination of Jed Lowry at short and Jose Altuve at second base, and that was a pretty good foundation with which to build upon. And then all of a sudden, whoop, nope. They moved Lowry out, and that really surprised me.
So Lowry with the Athletics. 3-1 the count. Shallow left center. Blanco. And Jaso doesn't even bluff from third base. The WBC final, the championship game at AT Park. Casilla facing Team Puerto Rico. 3-0, 8th inning.
Well, he was getting by way of the strikeout. There just wasn't a lot of contact made against him. In fact, the one time he gave up a leadoff triple, it was against Puerto Rico earlier in the tournament. It was by Angel Pagan who got the triple off him. He didn't score. So he's throwing a lot of confidence right now. There you see his number. 5 games, 5 innings, 1 hit allowed, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. That 1 hit coming off the bat of Angel Pagan.
And that's ball 1 inside. Pagan also got both Ryan Vogelsong and Jeremy Affeldt when he faced him. So if he faced any of his teammates, he got them all. Cespedes, the hitter. Save in the dirt there by Quiros, keeping Jaso at third base.
Nice block by the big catcher.
Cespedes hit a long 2-run homer to left center. He's grounded out to first, and then he singled his last time. See how the Giants are playing him. Shaded a bit toward left in the outfield. Right to third. Arias to the plate, and Quiros tags out Jaso. What a play by Joaquin Arias, because he was right on the line when he caught that ball. The throw had to be hurried and very accurate. because he could have hit the runner.
Well, watch the footwork as he goes back and very quickly gets out his back foot to get that throw off. And Quiotos makes a nice play going wide to his right and then coming back and doing the swipe tag on Jaso. As we mentioned before, Jaso is not your normal catcher. He's got good speed. It was a play that they had planned. They're going on ground ball contact with one out. Put the pressure on the defense. They did, and the defense responded. Nice play by Arias and Quiroz.
Well, Arias is a very fine defensive player. As Giants fans learned last year, he had never actually played third base until he got a couple innings in last spring. I remember, and he looked good. And I remember asking him during the spring about that. I said, how much have you played third base? He says, well, the 2 times this spring. I said, yeah, but in your career? He says, no, that's it. I never played third before this spring. Well, Pablo Sandoval got hurt with the hamate bone. And he missed, 6 weeks. And Arias looked like a gold glover at third base in that stretch.
Well, Ron Wotus was the guy that predicted that. And the reason he liked Arias and thought he might make a good third baseman is because he has quick feet. And as you saw on that play, what made that play was how quickly he got his balance, got to his back foot, and got an accurate throw off. Now, if you don't have quick feet, you don't do that. Now, we saw it in the perfect game with Matt Cain when he came in late as a defensive replacement for Pablo Sandoval. And the last out of that game was a very difficult play, hit to Arias to his right at third base, and he had to set up quickly with those quick feet, got a throw off, and that was the last out.
Cespedes running as Smith bounces it foul.
Now watch how quickly Arias gets to his balanced position with his feet. And that enables an accurate throw. It gives Quiroz plenty of time to go out and even get them. The throw wasn't that accurate, but it got to Quiroz so quickly, he had time to go wide, then come back and do the swipe tag. And that's something that an infield coach will see, even though, for the most part, Arias was taking all of his ground balls from Wotus in the middle part of the diamond. You still see those quick feet.
2-1 the count to Smith, who is 2 for 3 today. That's a foul ball deep down the right field line and out of the ballpark. Did he catch that ball? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
It's an old player. See, I cut off my wrist. You know, a little harder to do it that way, but.
Did you catch that ball? Oh, yeah, right here.
I kind of caught him. You got to be a little catcher.
You got the souvenir. He may have to go on the disabled list. He and Buster Posey could match bruises after this game.
I guarantee Posey's got a few after the amount of balls he had to block in the dirt today.
Seth Smith, 2-2 the count with Cespedes at first, and Casilla looks him back to the bag. And Arias gets another one. Perfect throw to first. Nice inning there for Joaquin Arias, a leadoff triple for Oakland, but no runs.
Heffernan Insurance.
Well, Sunday, April 7th, the Giants will take on the St. Louis Cardinals at 1:05. So get to the ballpark early as the Giants players and coaches will receive their 2012 World Series rings during a pregame ceremony. Then the first 40,000 fans will receive a replica World Series ring courtesy of AAA. A limited number of tickets are still available. To get those tickets, go to sfgiants.com/tickets to purchase.
Giants won it all last year, the second time in 3 years. 7-2, the Athletics leading the Giants here in this Cactus League friendly from Scottsdale Stadium. Oakland's got a new shortstop in there now, Adam Rosales, replacing Jed Lowry. But Tommy Malone is still in there. This is his 80th pitch thrown of the day, and it's ball one. Down and in to Guillermo Quiros, sitting in the cleanup spot where Buster Posey had been. Buster had a sacrifice fly and drew a walk while he was in there. Shading the eyes with the glove, there is Crisp. One away. Brandon Belt comes up now. We're getting to those days now where the final cuts are being made all around baseball. General managers are keeping close eyes on those waiver wires as different guys get cut. And we can usually anticipate in these final days that there will be some trades made, if not by the Giants, by several teams who will try and fill a need with somebody else's cut. That's a called strike on the outside. For instance, yesterday, Wilson Valdez of the Giants got released, a utility infielder. Well, just like that, the Miami Marlins swooped in, and they've signed him already.
Well, this really is an exciting time of spring because of that. And the Giants have 32 players left in camp. They have to get down to 25, as does every other team in Major League Baseball. 25 is the set roster you have opening the season.
Brandon Belt. Smith looks up. Goodbye. Wow. A booming home run for Brandon Belt, his 7th of the spring. Up there into the Charro Lodge, and it is 7-3 Oakland.
I mean, that's 3 home runs in the last 2 days, and 2 of them have come against left-handed pitching. And that's going to do it for Tommy Malone. And they go down and in with it, and he just simply golfs it out. Boom. And Tommy Malone, he knew it right away. You can see the reaction.
Wow. Not many get right back under the rooftop of the Charro Lodge. New pitcher for Oakland coming in. We'll be back.
It's Pep.
Giants 3 here in Scottsdale as we are in the last of the 6th inning. Brandon Belt with a booming home run against Tommy Malone. Malone's final pitch of the day. So Malone is gone after 85 pitches. Some people want to celebrate that home run, get some shave ice. Pretty good idea. On a warm day in the desert.
I don't think I'll be here Tuesday.
She's got 2 spoons. She may be wanting to share.
Thank you.
Either that or she's afraid one might break. She doesn't want to be caught empty-handed.
She's planning ahead.
Gamer babes. Gotta love them. New pitcher now for Oakland is going to be Ryan Cook, and he figures to be one of the big 3 as the A's have a very strong bullpen, especially at the end of the game. You can see his numbers in spring, not quite Ryan Cook like. He really had a great year last year for the A's.
And the fastball at 93 miles an hour for a called strike to Joaquin Arias, who has struck out and singled today. Crawford on deck. 1 out of the inning. A run is in. 7-3. Oakland leading. Slider. Donaldson backs up to get the true hop. And the sidearm throw right there. 2 down.
Last year, Cook was 6-2 with a 2.09 ERA, and in 73 in innings third, in 73 in innings in the third innings, he had allowed 42 hits and 27 walks. Now, the significance of that is that means 69 base runners were allowed by Cook in 73 and a third. Anytime you combine your hits and your walks together and they're less than your innings pitched, you're dealing. That's the WHIP statistic, walks, hits, and innings pitched. And his was under 1, which is remarkable.
Sergio Romo, by the way, is warming up in the Giants bullpen now. There he is. So it looks like he'll be coming on for the 7th inning. 7-3. Oakland ahead. Dwayne Kuiper over on radio side right now. He'll be coming back to TV side in the 7th. So Romo and Kuiper will be coming on at the same time. Brandon Crawford today has singled, and he's grounded into a force play. 2 down, nobody on. Ryan Cook. And that's down the way. You see the movement on that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-1.
Now he can get a ground ball and he can strike you out, and that's the type of guy you want.
That, by the way, I think that was my favorite flavor of shave ice.
Cherry?
I don't know. Red.
Red. I want the red.
When I was younger, I liked the blue better. Up the middle, base hit.
Another good example of just how relaxed his upper body is and how free his hands have become. When you have that ability, that relaxation with your upper body and your hands, your bat becomes quicker, your bat head becomes heavier. And the ball is coming off of his bat this spring, not like we've ever seen it. It is jumping off the bat. So you want to get one of those? Is that what you're telling me?
No, not today.
So that's how you used to order? I want the blue, I want the red?
Yeah. Well, I used to order blue, but now I would order the red.
Oh.
But since I moved to the Bay Area, I don't have a whole lot of shave ice. Maybe we'll go to Hawaii in the offseason.
All right, now. Oh,
I think that's the home office for shave ice.
Oh, she's doing a combo here.
Going with the shave ice rainbow. Nick Noonan, who singled home a run his last time. Ooh, that was a close one. Crawford just got back safely.
Nice move by Cook. Cook, kid out of Clovis, went to SC, 27th round pick. And that's a very compact move to first base. He almost got him.
1-1 the count to Noonan. Rosales. And the inning. Dwayne Kuiper coming back from the radio booth in the 7th. 7-3. Oakland is leading after 6. Check out this director's cut of Hunter Pence's motivational speech, exclusive to Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, courtesy SFG Productions.
Onward to the top of the seventh inning here at Scottsdale Stadium. A's on top of the Giants by a score of 7-3. Joining us again, Dwayne Kuiper. Welcome back, Smooth.
All righty, good to be back. Felt like I was gone for about 5 seasons.
Yeah, that was a long 3 innings. New pitcher now for the Giants. It's going to be Sergio Romo. This is not the normal 9th inning assignment that he would get. But spring training, very commonplace to see a closer come in earlier in the ball game. This is what he's done in 7 games this spring, 1-0 with a 3.86 ERA.
Well, explain why.
Well, oftentimes at the end of a game in spring training, you're going to face guys who are AA and AAA players.
Exactly.
You want your closer to face big league hitters? Well, he's going to have to pitch earlier in the game.
Okay. See, I thought that was the reason. I just needed to know for sure.
That is the reason.
So here's Donaldson. Romo to Donaldson, and on one pitch, the new shortstop throws on to first for the out. That was Noonan. All right, let's check in with Amy G. Amy?
All right, well, he's the hottest hitter in spring training, that's for sure, Brandon Belt. And let's talk a little bit about what tweaks you've made coming into spring training this year. And they're making fun of him. This is what happens when you never do during a game, a spring training special. What has been different for you this spring training? You said you were more mentally prepared, but what else have you been working on?
I think just coming in and getting locked in as early as possible and trying to stay consistent. It's just one of those things that I think with the more experience you get in the big leagues, the more comfortable, more confident you get. I kind of have an idea of what pitchers are trying to do to me now. This is spring training, so I know when we get into the season, it's going to be a little bit different. They're going to try to get me off balance any way they can, but if I stick with my zone, stick with my approach, I should be fine.
It's kind of like your interview skills. You've gotten to be like a pro at this. Remember when we first did this?
Yeah, I know. I was terrible, but I've gotten a lot better thanks to you.
He just wouldn't look. He looked straight ahead. Much, much better. A+ on improvement. You have just over a week left in the season, Brandon. Personally, how do you use that time? What are you working on? And as a team, what are you guys focusing on in that final week?
Yeah, I think when we get down to the last week, everybody's getting kind of excited to get the season started. You just want to kind of hone in on what you want to work on. And like I said before, just try to get locked in and ready for opening day. All the spring training stats are fun and everything, but it really, really counts when you get to opening day. So we're looking forward to going into that series with the Dodgers and having a lot of fun and winning.
Is it hard to keep your focus with 8 days left until April 1st that you just kind of want to get there? And, how do you keep your focus on what you have ahead of you here?
Yeah, I think, everybody's getting anxious and excited a little bit. We're ready to get started. I'm ready to play for something during the season. But I think there's a lot of things that we want to work on. It's still early in the year. We still have stuff we want to fix, maybe mechanically or approach-wise, whatever. So we're still working on that this last week.
Okay, we'll be looking for that. And we're going to take a look at your home run here. You have 7 home runs so far in spring training. I know you said you want to play for when it counts, but fans sure like to look at that. Take us through that.
It's just one of those things that I'd been seeing the ball pretty good all day. And, I went up there that last at bat saying I was really going to try to focus on seeing the ball all the way to the bat. And that's what I did right there. Unfortunately, I put good wood on it.
Is it true you told Boach you were going for the cycle?
Well, we always joke around about that. It's not like it wasn't just in particular yesterday. I say that every day. So when I actually got close, it was kind of funny. So, but it was awesome.
I think he likes that answer every day. That's what they should be doing. Brandon Belt, thanks for your time, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Amy, and thanks to Brandon Belt. Starting to see a little bit more of that young man's personality.
Yeah, I think he's set to have a big-time year this year. Very confident. And that's a big part of it.
Well, he does have a terrific sense of humor, personality. Hey, he's not awkward when he hits the ball out of the park, that's for sure.
No, and the more you see the guy play, the less awkward he becomes. He has his own way of doing things. But he really is one of the better athletes on the Giants club. I mean, he does everything well.
This is Sogard, who the Giants have not been able to get out. He's 3 for 3, 2 singles and a big fly. He will win a Gold Glove someday, too. Brandon Belt.
Oh, no question. He's sweet around the bag. And interesting, early in his career, 2 guys signed off on him, said he can do this. One, Will Clark, the other, JT Snow. Yeah. And those are 2 big endorsements because they both won Gold Gloves.
Three and 1 to Sogard. And Sogard on for the 4th time as Brandon Moss is going to hit. So here's Moss.
No standing. Remember that. I see a sign like that, I just want to get up and stand.
Yeah, I do. Known you a long time, and authority doesn't mean a whole lot to you. That's when you're raised by a cop. Swing and a miss, and it's no balls and 1 strike. You were only afraid of one guy.
My dad.
That's it.
I could spell authority when I was 18 months old.
No standing. Romo chasing Sogard back to the bag. 7-3 A's here in the 7th inning. Moss hit some big home runs for the A's last year. And he bounces this one under the glove of Minikazi. Runners now at the corners.
In the house.
You get into the game, the ball's going to find you.
It's kind of the way it works.
So that's Mike Minikazi. Panic is at second. Noonan moves from second to short.
And the scouts in attendance today with this radar gun. There they are.
Saw Pat Burrell down there earlier.
Burrell now a scout with the Giants. And a good one.
Strike at the knees to Coco Crisp. You see him right. When you use our center field camera, you can see him right behind the catcher. There he is. Hadn't changed a bit.
No doubt that he was going to stay in the game in some capacity. And he dove right into scouting just like he did when he was a player diving into hitting.
Andres Torres. Side retired. A's strand a pair. Gillespie to lead things off.
You wouldn't trust just
Pavilion. And the Sharks are in Minnesota, looking to make it 2 in a row. And we'll have the latest on the 49ers and one of the big-name free agents they brought in just a few weeks ago on Sportsnet Central. Kruk, Kipe, can't wait for you to get home.
All right, thanks, Mindy. We miss you too, Mindy. We really do. In fact, we were just talking about that this morning. 7-3, A's on top. John Doolittle is going to be the new pitcher for the Athletics. Quite a story for Doolittle. decided he wanted to become a pitcher, and in the same year he decided that, he's pitching in the big leagues. How about that?
Well, you do that, you kind of have to wonder why I didn't decide that a little earlier.
And he didn't. Pitching very good this spring. Pitched great last year. Throws hard.
Well, that is the fallback position for a lot of guys. Come into organized baseball as position players. If you've got a good arm, you got somewhere to go if you can't hit.
Shane Peterson is in center field. And Gillespie fouls it out of play. Well, it's not supposed to be that easy, though, Mike. So, yeah, I'm going to decide maybe today that I'm going to be a catcher. And then a little while later, you're catching in the big leagues. And Gillespie smokes this one. On the move is Peterson. He is looking up. Gone. That's a big fly, and it's 7-4.
Second home run of the year, or I should say of spring training for Cole Gillespie. His other one was a walk-off home run. It was hitting the same part of the ballpark.
Yep.
They set up middle in, and this thing drops right there mid-thigh, and he looks like he was looking for the breaking ball. Not fooled a bit. And as this ballpark has been carrying well with that wind blowing out, that was a big, big fly.
Here's Gregor Blanco in his first at bat. With Andres Torres on deck, and Blanco bluffs a bunt and he takes a strike. Andres Torres on deck. 7-4 A's. Belt hit a home run in the 6th. And he slaps this one, and knocking it down at third is Donaldson, and Blanco is going to be aboard. I think he had that planned.
Donaldson looked like he expected a little more speed on the ground ball. The little slap, and he goes down. It looks like his knee got stuck in the dirt. It sort of really jarred him, and it definitely affected his ability to try and stop that ball. So after the home run, a little slug bunt, Giants get a base runner.
Here's Torres, 0 for 2. Fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. And if you're Andres Torres, Clayton Kershaw opens up the season on April 1st. A lefty. Here you go. You're facing a hard throwing lefty right here. Fouls this one back.
You know, you talk about guys that are position players that change position, become pitchers, and get to the big leagues quick. There was a guy that came up with the Padres organization. He was Mike Dupree, and we played against him always in the minor leagues, and he was a middle infielder. He's kind of a weak hitter, but he had a good arm.
Torres, double play ball to Rosales. One throws offline, and on the tag by Barton, Torres is retired. Doolittle bounces back with a double play ball.
So you're aware of your opponents when you play in the minor leagues, and for a lot of times you go up a league, that guy will be there as well. Well, you know, he was playing against a rookie league A-ball, double A-ball, and then all of a sudden he disappeared, became a pitcher, and boom, he's in the big leagues. And it ticked all of us pitchers off that were playing against this guy, thinking it ain't that easy.
Well, there's a bunch of people out there that saw Doolittle, and they're probably thinking the same thing. It's like, it's not supposed to happen this fast. It can happen, but not this fast.
Jason Mott is a former catcher with the Cardinals.
Here's Panic, Joe Panic, who takes high, 2-0.
Had a great arm. Wasn't doing enough with the bat. So you might try pitching because of that arm. Boom, big leagues. Closer, world champions for the Cardinals a couple years ago. Kenley Jansen.
Here's a strike at the knees.
Who was the starting catcher for the 2009 Dutch WBC team? Kenley Jansen. And now all Giants fans know just how good he is for the Dodgers in their bullpen.
Panic gets hit on the shoulder. And here's Quiros.
So it happens more than you think it does. You have a good arm. It's an asset that they will explore should your hitting abilities leave you.
So here's Quiros. Big, strong, right-handed hitting catcher is Doolittle. We'll check on the base runner, Panic. Doolittle gives up the home run to Gillespie, and here Quiros takes high. 1 ball and no strikes. Doolittle to Quiros, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Popped out of play right behind us. That'll sail into. Well, it looks like it may have hit one of the light towers, but a lot of balls end up right in the parking lot. So it's 1-2. That's it. Hit that car right there. Quiros fouls it back. Been known to walk out there and find you got a little bit of a dent in the hood.
Absolutely. Commonplace. Players' parking lot is right behind the stadium on the first base side here at Scottsdale Stadium. You are in full range of pop-ups and foul balls that go out of the stadium.
Down low, 2-2.
There's the parking lot. Also, the television truck is out there.
That's a target too, though.
Yeah, there's the truck where Jim Lynch and Jeff Kuiper are working right now.
This one's headed to the truck. Nope. In the seats. Fan brought his glove, dropped it, and now they're booing.
Whew. It's a little harsh, isn't it? Spring training.
It is harsh. Just inside 3-2. Yeah, this shaking his head. I think what happened was one guy brought his glove, another guy didn't, and the guy that didn't interfered with the guy that brought his glove. It's bad combination. In the dirt, and Doolittle walks Quiros, and Minikazi's going to hit.
Well, nice at bat. You go 0-2 to a walk. That's a good AB. That's an at bat to get you a pat on the back from your hitting coach. And what we have found out from Minikazi is he's got some power. We saw him hit a long home run against the Rockies a couple days ago to right field. This guy really has become a nice little story. Came over to the Giants organization, then he went through a series of injuries that all required surgery. Back, shoulder, Tommy John. Missed 1 entire year, then he resurfaced. 3 years Minikazi played independent league baseball. I mean, that's professional baseball, but you're not associated with any team. You talk about a long shot to get to the big leagues. Well, Minikazi says, I'm not done playing. And lo and behold, the Giants picked him back up. He's healthy. He's here at big league camp. He got himself a home run in a big league camp game. So he is more than qualified with power to be able to tie this ball game up.
So here he is, facing Sean Doolittle, and he takes a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. Panic at second. Quiros is at first. Minikazi waiting on Doolittle. Outside with a fastball at 91. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Joaquin Arias is on deck. 7-4 A's, 7th inning. He had a pitch and he fouls it straight back. It's now 1-2.
Well, one thing about Doolittle, I mean, he is not afraid to challenge.
No.
His fastball goes 91, 94, and he believes in it.
Popped up. Smith. Side retired. Cole Gillespie leads off the inning with a big fly. It's bye-bye baby. And it's now a 7-4 ball game.
Giants broadcast. We are. I have Sergio Romo, and this is going to be tough. Oakland A's leading 7-4, and I've got to admit, I mean, this is what we got to do. I feel weird that you're not behind me making weird faces in front of me and Romo bombing me. It's kind of strange having you right next to me.
There's a wall.
I know. I was placed here strategically. Yeah. Sergio Romo, the Giants closer, thank you for doing this. And tell us a little bit about your spring training. Of course, you played for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. And what's the best way to describe? Because anybody who knows Sergio or covers Sergio knows he's a Giant through and through. But what's the difference with having Giants on your chest versus Mexico on your chest?
Oh, wow. What an experience for me it was in general. It's definitely given the opportunity to do so. It's one of those things you want to do at least one time, and, you know, especially for me in my career. Hopefully I'm still around for the next one so I can still, play in that one as well. But, I mean, the game doesn't change. I mean, the thing is you're playing for a different purpose, and I mean, it was just fun for me. It really, really was. I don't know. It's just a different opportunity to, just to show what I got on a different stage. And, I mean, it went well for the most part, but all in all, what an experience.
Amazing opportunity is a great way to say it. So take us through spring training. You got to come back, after going to the World Baseball Classic. You guys going to have to deal with that break from each other. You get back in, and what are the things that you're looking to work on in this final week? What are the things that you're happy with?
I mean, I'm definitely just happy in general just to be here, to have, a uniform with my name on it, still to be a part of, this awesome group of dudes that we got here. It's so much fun. It really is. I mean, I haven't seen any of my teammates kind of be upset or down or anything this whole spring. Everyone's just kind of been happy and go lucky. And, this is just enjoying the time around these guys. The last week, I mean, obviously, just trying to smooth out the rosters and whatnot. But everyone just kind of settling into the roles and what seemed to be or are going to be our roles this year. So, I mean, it's just fun. Oh, base hit. But, it's just fun, really, just to be around the guys. I mean, just to build that camaraderie again. It's one of the things that I know I miss most this offseason.
So kind of some exciting news that we get to break right now.
What?
Sergio Romo made his own ice cream, guys, in the offseason. Tell us a little bit about 3 twins out of, Petaluma. Tell us about it.
No, the 3 twins ice cream out of Petaluma, they came at me with an idea of making a specific ice cream flavor after myself. They want to call it Mexican chocolate. It's chocolate ice cream with cinnamon in it. It's pretty solid. It's pretty good. Organic. What it is, it's just working with them, to just kind of expand their brand, and then also, to help out a little bit on my half, on my community funds and whatnot. For me, like Junior Giants and Ames programs and stuff like that. So there's certain things that came into play with that, but at the same time, it's just fun just to know that they're going to have my mug on a little ice cream carton.
And it's super fun to make ice cream anyway.
It really, really is. I thought it was a cool idea, and I mean, it's just another way to help them out, and as well to help out my, my community fund. So it's real fun. I think it's cool. I got ice cream.
So before they even can ask, I know Dwayne and Mike are going to want some. Can you hook them up?
Yeah, definitely. Don't worry, your guys' sweet tooth is all right. I got it.
I'll make you a sandwich, and Sergio's going to bring you ice cream, guys.
Gone.
That's quite a call there, partner.
Adam Rosales with a big fly off of Otero.
Well, in a day where a lot of wind is blowing out, you don't want to throw fly balls. You really have to force yourself to try and keep that ball down the zone.
Maybe don't do it on an 0-2 pitch.
Those are the ones that hurt the most.
So base hit by Jaso, home run by Rosales. It's now 9-4. And here's Cespedes.
And you know what he's thinking?
Yeah. Cespedes is the guy that you're worried about doing this. And a strike to Cespedes. Otero had just thrown 2 balls right by Rosales. Not the third one. Breaking ball past Noonan for a base hit. So 3 balls hit hard off of Otero, and that'll bring up Seth Smith. Number 60 is running for Cespedes. 60.
Is that old man 60s kid? Jesse Chavez out of the minor leagues for the A's. So Cespedes' day has come to an end, a 3-hit day. A very impressive 3-hit day.
Who's pinch running?
Jesse Chavez.
Here's Smith. Strike, and it's 0-1.
Weeks you'll hit for so hard now. Week. You gonna say? Yeah. Weeksy, you're gonna hit for so.
Donaldson is on deck. 9-4 A's. 23 hits in this game. Down low.
Sogi.
Not that many more days here at Scottsdale Stadium.
I'm saying 5 more games. That's my guess. Smith takes wide. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Giants play tomorrow against the Angels. And then Monday against the Cubs. Both those games away. So after today, only 1 more game here at Scottsdale Stadium against the Padres on Tuesday.
4 total?
4 total. They wind up against the Diamondbacks over at Salt River. And then after the game on Wednesday, they hop on a plane, fly back to San Francisco, and start the Bay Bridge series on Thursday.
Line drive, right field line. That's going to be a base hit. Chavez is going to stop at third. Smith with his 3rd hit. And Otero would like to call timeout and say, well, let's start this over again.
You bet he would. And I mean, this is not a good feeling for a young pitcher who, it really does have an opportunity to try and make this club as a long man in the bullpen. And these are outings that when they're going against you, you start letting your mind go right with it. And you start to panic. Because you can't afford to have bad stats, bad outings. Not in spring training. We heard Ron Modas early in the broadcast say that this is the time that young players need to impress.
So here's Josh Donaldson. And Donaldson takes a called strike, and it's 0-1. Derek Barton is on deck. 2 runs in, 2 runners aboard. Down low.
And we've seen spring training catastrophes. I know one time I was a player and had a teammate named Ken Crosby, a really good stuff, good pitcher, had a tremendous spring. And he was going to make the club in Chicago when I was with the Cubs.
To right field, that'll be a base hit. So 1 run's going to score. It's going to be 10-4, and that's 5 straight hits off of Otero.
Ken Crosby in spring training was having a great spring, and his last outing was a start, and they basically said, we don't care how you do it. You're going to make the club. You've had a great spring. And he goes out to give up 9 in 2 innings. And the next day it was like, well, upon further review, we're going to take the left-hander, and he didn't make the club. So for some guys, this is crunch time. Cole Gillespie, 2 home runs this spring. We go back to Sunday. The Giants trailing the Rockies, and in front of a home crowd, it's a long home run. It was a walk-off. The Giants come from behind, and they win. And here today, he takes on the same part of the yard. The pretty good wind blowing out the center, takes advantage of it, and goes big fly. Home run number 2. So Cole Gillespie making some noise here late in spring. He got up to a pretty slow start. He's starting to make up for it now.
Well, the last one went into Arizona's #1 hip-hop lounge and club.
Well, they shook things up there.
Here's Barton, who fouls it off the mask of Quiros.
You saw Mitch Lively, the right-hander, getting loose now. The Giants bullpen out in right field.
Right now, pitcher and Donaldson.
Martin does not have a hit today. He did reach on a walk. 10-4, runners at the corners. 5 straight hits. Otero just misses on the outside part of the plate. 2-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. You start to give up 5 hits in a row, and all of a sudden you're thinking, maybe I don't want to put it in the strike zone. Yeah, it's 2 balls and 1 strike. It's not 3 and 2. It's now 2 and, or make it 3 and 1. Occasionally here at Scottsdale Stadium, they'll have interns that are working the scoreboard, and that is the case today.
Somebody fell asleep.
And the walk.
Well, this has turned into a disaster for Dan Otero, and that's going to be this Borchi's not going to let his confidence get chewed on anymore.
New pitcher, bases are loaded. 10-4. We're at Scottsdale Stadium. Woohoo! We'll be back.
What you got there?
Really happy to announce to Giants fans that all of our web shows with the Giants will be returning for the 2013 season. Amy G's Giants exclusives, Diamond Girls, Bulls Shootin', Romo's Relief, and Buster No Squat. And gentlemen, we've added one this year with Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford. It's called Hum BB. You can check it out at csnbayarea.com. We have one with Brandon Belt ready for fans to see right now. Guys?
Amy spending all off season coming up with catchy names.
She was writing books. She was having fun.
Jamal Weeks will face Mitch Lively. Bases loaded. 3 runs in. Nobody out. And a pitch down low.
Lively's a big guy, 6'5", 240. From Susanville, California. Went to Lassen High School. Way up north.
2-0. Shane Peterson is on deck. Up the middle. 4, you better hurry. 6-3, and they get a double play. A run comes in. It's 11-4. So it goes Panic to Noonan to Minikazi. Hey, at this point, you take the double play.
Well, what Mitch Lively did just right there with getting the ground ball to get the double play, I mean, that's big. And that's the type of thing that leaves an impression on a pitching coach, on a manager. If you can do that, I mean, you're a commodity.
Here's Peterson, who takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
You're a pitcher that's a strike throwing sinker baller that has a strikeout breaking ball. You talk about going through the minor leagues quick, you will fly through the minor leagues.
Through the legs of Quiros. The throw home, not in time. And scoring is Donaldson.
Looked like the ball stayed down on Quiros. He kept thinking it was going to come up, and it did not. Hits home plate, and those are catcher's nightmares. Hardest pitches to block are fastballs that hit home plate and splits because they're unpredictable.
Little flare out to left over Noonan, and a base hit for Peterson.
You're such a liar. You didn't even video that. I know.
There's a pitch down low. This is Josh Horton. Horton pinch hitting. And the breaking ball, a high strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lively replacing Otero here in the 8th. Otero did not get anybody out.
Josh Horton out of the University of North Carolina. It's great being around big league clubhouses around baseball. Right now, March Madness is going on, and if you have guys who went to schools that have good basketball programs, and obviously the University of North Carolina, a pretty good program, they usually have a tendency to become a little loud.
Absolutely. Kirk Reeder, who's from Missouri, got loud when it came to North Carolina.
Yeah, he loved North Carolina, Dallas Cowboys.
Arias in foul territory. And finally, the top of the 8th is over. 4 runs in for the A's, 11-4 Oakland. 12-4 A's as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. AT&T Uver Sportsnet Central. Today after the game, Cal, Syracuse preview, Sharks highlights. And after Sportsnet Central, don't miss Legends. 2012 San Francisco Giants interviews with all of the key guys with manager Bruce Bochy featured. Lots of great footage. A must-see for Giants fans. Check it out. So, this young guy, check it out, the cotton candy. All good. Jordan Norberto is the new pitcher.
Now playing first base.
See the numbers for Norberto.
He hit around a little bit. 14 knocks and 7 1/3. That's a little too many. This will be the 10th year of organized baseball with Norberto.
Arias takes wide. 1 ball and no strikes.
10 years. 2 of those years have been at the big league level.
Rosales. 1 out. And coming up is number 80.
Old man 80's kid.
It's going to be Chucky Jones. Strike to Chucky Jones. No balls and 1 strike. Noonan to follow. Out to left field. 2 down. And here's Noonan. Noonan with a base hit in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Knocked in a run. All the changes now. This is a nightmare for broadcasters, especially if you're working alone.
Well, and John Miller is working alone over at KMBR. But I think he likes the challenge.
I do too. Noonan takes down low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Nothing ever really seems to rattle John Miller. He's about as relaxed in that broadcast booth as anybody I've ever been around.
The only thing that will get John from time to time is if his microphone isn't just right. Other than that, not a problem. Lee Jones is at home watching, going, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I can add a few things to that list. There's the big kahuna. He does like to have his media guide.
Yep. Noonan up the middle. He's got a base hit.
That's another base hit against a left-handed pitcher. He's had 2 of those today. And those are significant swings of the bat. I mean, he really has a legitimate shot to make this club. When they released Wilson Valdez, Nick Noonan elevated in the eyes of the Giants. And yesterday had a home run, went 1 for 4. Today, a couple of knocks.
Here's Gillespie, who homered his last at bat, and he takes a strike.
In the last 2 days, Noonan has played 3rd, short, and 2nd. And he has fielded all 3 of those positions cleanly. Which, if he makes the team, that's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, if you're a utility guy and you can't catch the ball, then you're not going to make the team. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. National League teams are not looking for DHs, although there are times throughout the course of the season you'd like to have one. But you need people that you can use on a double switch.
Well, it would be a great story. I mean, Nick Noonan was a first-round pick by the Giants back in 2007. 6 years in the minor leagues. He's seen all the stops. Rookie, A-ball, AA, AAA. He has not missed a location.
Well, he's also played with guys that have gone by him. He's a teammate of Buster Posey in the minor leagues.
Brandon Crawford.
Roberto with the walk. Here's Blanco.
You know, when, the significance of that is that he was a first-round pick. When you're a first-round pick, you figure you're going to move. You're going to move quickly. And organizations will give you an opportunity. They will push you. And when other guys who were lesser picks in number go past you, it hurts.
Blanco, in his only other at bat, slapped one off the glove of Donaldson for a base hit. Here he takes a fastball high.
And you know, the other thing too about Noonan, I mean, as we mentioned, 6 years in the minor league system, all with the Giants. He's a Giant. He has been taught the way they teach. And you watch him play baseball, how he does things. That's how our minor league system works.
Is the old song from the '79 Pirates, "We Are Family"?
Yep.
Popped up. Side retired. Giants strand a pair. 9th inning coming up. 12-4. Oakland. Ninth inning, 12-4. Athletics, 27 hits in this game. Is Mitch Lively, who came in to put out the fire in the 8th, will pitch the 9th. Bobby Haney is at 3rd. So here's the catcher, Luke Montz, M-O-N-T-Z, and the pitch is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Foul off the backstop. 1 ball and 1 strike. The extra days in this spring training of 2013 due to the World Baseball Classic, and you can tell guys are ready to go. And one of those guys is the Giants manager. I mean, there are some decisions that still have to be made. You got to play it out, and you got to take advantage of those games you still have. This is fouled out of play.
Well, I think this is the time of year all managers dislike. It already happened earlier in the week when Bochy had to release Wilson Valdez, a veteran, and release Ramon Ramirez, a veteran, and a big component of that 2010 World Championship team. When you go through a World Series and you win it, as a manager, you feel a closeness to everybody in that team that made contribution. Ramirez is one of those guys. And now you have to tell him that his career's over in your eyes, at least with your organization. And it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, earlier, 10 days ago, they sent out 21. And for the most part, they were all guys that knew they were going to be sent out to the minor leagues. And they had jobs. But that's not always the case this time of year. A lot of guys who get sent into the manager's office now, they don't have a job. They're getting set free. And for managers, this is the toughest time. Plus, as you point out, they've had a little too much spring training.
Hit deep into right center field. Everything is carrying. Is Blanco's back, and he's going to make the catch up against the wall. And that'll bring up Rosales.
Now let's take a look at the carry to the right center field part of the stadium. And Blanco, not impressed, looking back up in the sun, gets back. Looked like he was going to jump, and then all of a sudden he says, no, I don't have to. Makes an easy snag.
He did with the left hand get a feel for where he was at. Rosales hit a home run in the 8th inning. You know, the other group of gentlemen, the coaches, trainers, clubhouse people, they're all here very early. And that group all extended as well as far as the number of days here. The truck that will take a lot of the equipment, workout equipment, is going to leave on Monday back to the Bay Area. Oh, and 2 to Rosales. Rosales fights off a pitch in on his hands, and it remains 0-2. Hit out to right for Chucky Jones. 2 outs.
Looks lively, mowing him down.
Connor Crumbliss is going to hit. So Crumbliss to face Lively. Barry Zito will pitch tomorrow against Jason Vargas. Giants will travel to Tempe to take on the Los Angeles Angels of Los Angeles. Or something of that nature.
Connor Crumbliss, and he went to school at Emporia State University. Now, that's the first time I've heard of that school.
He's trying to put it on the map.
He's got to be the pride of Emporia State University.
Absolutely.
30th round pick back in the 2009 draft for the A's.
But where's he from?
Arkansas.
1 ball and 2 strikes. You pitched in Little Rock.
I did.
The very famous Leon Lett, the Dallas Cowboy, went to
Emporia State.
Emporia State.
How about that? So there you go. Thank you, Dan Peterson, in our truck, who has all kinds of Emporia State knowledge. It's impressive. I did play Little Rock.
Out to left. Gillespie, side retired. On another day, we'll tell Little Rock, Arkansas stories. Not today.
We both have them.
Up to an extra.
It is the bottom of the 9th inning. All Oakland this afternoon here in Scottsdale. 12-4 A's in front of a sellout crowd of 12,000. 224 is Evan Scribner is the new pitcher.
Take a look at Scribner's numbers. 13 hits and 8 in the third. 9 strikeouts against 1 walk. That's the good part. The 13 knocks and 8 in the third. That's a little bit too many. Scribner, 830 appearances last year in Oakland, really did well. 2-0 with a 2.55 ERA, so they know what he can do. Definitely strikeout stuff, as he proved it there with 9 in the 8 in the third. And he's got command with just 1 walk. And I think when you know you have a good arm, the things you look at not so much are how many hits allowed down in Arizona, because hits are a little bit easier to get here because the infields are hard, ballparks are live. You look at things like strikeout walk ratio, and a 9-to-1 strikeout walk ratio, and that's solid. When you're getting a strikeout an inning, that's solid. There's a process that you have as a pitcher to get ready down here. You've got to establish things. You got to get your fastball, then you got to get your other pitches. And along the way, sometimes opposing hitters are not going to be that friendly.
So Jeff Arnold is the new pitcher or hitter. I beg your pardon. Rosales behind second. 1 out. And that'll bring up Panic. Joe Panic.
Giants tomorrow go on the road to Tempe, where they'll face the Angels, as Kipe said earlier. And we're getting to the part of spring training where you expect to see a lot of the varsity, the starters that you're going to see when the season starts. And when you talk about the Angels, you're talking about Pujols and Hamilton and Trout. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Barry Zito on the hill for the Giants.
And you'll be with John on the radio side.
KNBR tomorrow.
There's a strike at the knees to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Panic was hit on the shoulder by a pitch in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, and it's now 2-2. Our next TV game will be Thursday night from AT&T Park. A's and Giants. The first of 3 Bay Bridge games. This is hit up the middle. Rosales is not going to have enough time as Panic beats it out.
Well, I like the optimism. Here it's a 12-4 ball game, 1 out in the 9th inning, and we hear the "Let's Go Giants" chant. And what happens? Joe Panic gets a base hit. I'm giving all the credit to the fans on that one.
So here's Quiros. Good shot of the spring training cap for the Giants.
You like it?
I do. Not as good as the regular season cap, but a little different.
Well, we've seen some pretty funky spring training caps the last couple of years. This one I do like.
Quiros waves and misses. It's 0-2.
And with the new spring training caps, there's a lot of technology involved with them. We're so accustomed to seeing Giants hats get salty with perspiration. Well, these new ones don't. Pure wild pitch on that curveball in the dirt.
Well, baseball caps are important. There's a certain way to wear them, a certain way they look. Obviously, some guys look better in baseball caps and others, is Quiros behind in the count 1-2.
Well, I agree. I think some heads were made to wear baseball caps.
It's down low.
Other heads can screw up a baseball cap faster than you can get the baseball cap out of the bag. I've never understood why that is.
2-2 pitch. 3-2. Twelve A's here in the ninth. And that's hooked foul. We're not going to be able to show him, but 3 booths down is Marty Lurie, and he needs a new cap.
Yeah, he can mess up a cap.
This is driven into the gap, and that's going to be a base hit. And that's going to score a panic. Quiros, who runs like a catcher, into second base with a double.
Well, nice swing of the bat. You take an inside pitch that's down at the knees, and you go inside out the opposite gap and drive it through for extra bags. That's a good swing of the bat. You cannot do that unless you have a knob lead with your approach, and you let that ball get very deep into you. And that's an impressive swing.
Here's Minikaze. Minikaze popped out in the 7th inning. He's not afraid to take a cut, that's for sure, and it's no balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's a healthy rip, no question.
So it's 0-1 to Minikaze, and there's a breaking ball, and it's bounced to third. It's a fair ball. The long throw is in time, and Quiros, with that blazing speed, moves from second to third.
Catcher speed?
No, blazing speed.
I love spring training. Kinda. I do the first week. How about now? It's like, I'm ready to go north.
So it's 12-5 as Haney is the hitter. And a strike in the outside corner. And it's 0-2. Bobby Haney.
Bobby Haney out of New York.
And Bobby Haney sends everybody home with a big swing and a miss. And that's the ball game as the Giants drop this one by a final of 12-5. Your thoughts on this masterpiece?
Well, I think the big story coming into this game was Tim Lincecum as to how he was going to progress through spring training as he tries to get himself ready for the season. And I don't think he's going to be happy with the way that he pitched today. He had a lot of 3-ball counts and not great kill pitches just today.
12-5 your final. Join us for our next telecast Thursday night at 7. Giants take on the A's from AT Park. We're going home. Coming up next is Sportsnet Central for Amy G. and for my partner Mike Krukow. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Thanks for joining us. And have a good night, everybody. Sportsnet Central. That's going to start right now.
Now.